This is the Underground World News Live. Good evening. Adjust some things here. Let's get the mic check out the way. Make sure everything's good here. Lowrider in the house. D White. It's back to switching things up. Instead of it saying D White, it says D Wizzle. Hey, as long as you guys can hear me and we can hold down the show, I guess that's what counts. What's good? Good evening. Thank you, John Boy, for the feedback. Skeeby, Steely, thank you for the early super chats there. Thank you all for the feedback. Elena, Jesse, all the purebloods out there. Texas Rob, Deanne, Steve, Quantum, E-Phase, Jay from the Phil, Tacos. Thank you, Fire the Flame, a.k.a. Crown Jewels. Thank you all. Lots to cover here tonight. I don't know what was going on with the opening beat. Sounded like the real one. But I've got like 4 or 5 that like Jesse sent me and made me a long time ago. And something happened to the player. And I'm not sure if I clicked on the right one. It sounded like it, but some of the stuff just was off to me when you hear it 1,000 times like I do. Wyoming in the house. Anyhow, just glad that we're able to launch a stream, hold one down here. I want to thank everyone that shares it, gets it out there. Thank you, D. White, Hoodie, Ross, Tacos, all the fam that does so. Mally Mo, much love, Blooded the Brave. Everyone out there across the board, good to see everybody. Got a lot to cover, a lot of different angles on things here we're going to touch on here tonight. Let me get that there. All right. It sounded a little warped. Okay. It's because it was. It was like some of the sound was standing out in front of the other. Thank you for the feedback. If any ear was going to catch it, I expected you to, and I appreciate the feedback there, brother. Quantum, thank you for the super chat right at the gate. And yeah, man, we're gonna dive into this here. We'll start off like I normally do here, up in space, and just kind of. I don't have a lot lined up on the economic side and all that stuff, but we'll touch on a few things here, and then we're going to dive into kind of the political war front. When I say economic, I mean aside from the war stuff, because I mean I've got stuff here. Obviously, it's connected into the prices of everything rising, but it's tied into the war stuff largely. Okay, so with space, let's start with some X-class solar flares. The sun, fairly quiet for being in a peak phase that ended today with 2 powerful X-class flares. They happened back-to-back quick succession. This came from Sunspot 4419. It unleashed a 2.4 and then a 2.5. If you guys had any equipment outages during any of this, or you ever do, let me know. They say that some of the effects here were felt specifically over the Persian Gulf, of all places, with all that stuff going on there. And let's jump over, because it mentions here Comet Pan-STARRS. And if you guys don't know, Comet Pan-STARRS is one going around the sun right now. The last one that we were tracking ended up diving into the sun and is no longer in existence. It was Comet Maps. So now this C2025 R3 Pan-STARRS passing between Earth and the sun, and you can see this on the imagery. Here, I'm going to fire this up right here. You can see coming in the frame right there. And if you look, that white disc in the middle, that's representing the sun, the size of the sun. So this is flared up a lot. The sun's so bright though, it blocks things out. But this thing coming in close, and we've got another shot. This is the thing with this. Stephen Burns, guy I follow out there, astrophysicist. He was concerned about the tail coming off this thing, in that he estimated in any time we're probably going to pass right through the tail of it, which could or could not be something major, but we are going through the tail of a comet, it seems. To me, I was wondering, are we for sure? Is it just an optical illusion from the camera standpoint and all that? But he seemed to say no, that tail was going to come right through our neck of the woods. Oddly enough, and I've seen a lot of people complaining about this, the space cameras out there, the feeds and all the footage, the imagery that we get, they're lacking major data. This isn't new, I'll tell you. It's just people are starting to notice it more and more. They've been doing this stuff for years, but they're cutting out data, like full days worth of data. And people just can't understand how and who's in control of it and all this. Well, not only do you do that, do you have that, you have glitches that seem to happen with odd timing. Let's just put it that way. And here's an example. I'm going to hit play here and I'm going to run this in motion. This is stereo ahead HI2 that shows pan stars. The sun's to the right. The earth is right here. I'm circling. It's got a black line going up and down through it right there. And you're going to see pan stars, the tail, which comes past that black line. It's going to move down toward earth and then all of a sudden out of view. Right here. Watch. It's tracking down and then boom. So they're saying like right now we should be passing through this this tail, which can have all kinds of different energies if that's the case, and giving off a ton of different elements. Standing Stones, thank you for the super chat. And thank you to anyone out there that donates, helps the channel. Appreciate it to the fullest. When Doom, Joey, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but we don't ride on fear around here. We talk about crazy stuff that would scare some people, I guess, if you're that way. But you got to have thick skin around here, man, and be able to face the fire, so to speak. When is Doom? It can come in a lot of different forms, shapes, sizes. I don't know. We're just trying to stay on top of all this so people could see what's going on. I don't see anything from space outside of the Great Deception coming our way here anytime soon. At least nothing that we see or that we know of thus far. The biggest thing would be that we're potentially passing through the tail of a comet here in Pan stars. So if any crazy debris or fireballs come through here in the next day or so, any weird stuff, it could potentially be connected to this. Let's go to some weather. And man, oh man, we had a monster, and I'm talking monster, tornado here ripped through. I seen it in another image from like 20 miles away from the city in Oklahoma. This thing hit Vance Air Force Base in Enid, Oklahoma. It took a direct hit. We'll play this clip here.
I mean, your pictures are showing a bunch of debris, but it's getting picked up so high that we're seeing it here, radars right now. And so Enid, this is going to be south of downtown Enid. It just hit Vance Air Force Base, and it is going to be very close to the airport and eventually the community of Fairmont. Again, the community of Fairmont. But this is a strong, violent tornado right now that has just crossed over the highway south of Enid and is going to continue. This is by far the strongest tornado that we have seen in here. I mean, and the strongest tornado we have seen in a very long time here in Oklahoma. Is that a house that was just hit, Amanda? Yeah, we see. Oh my goodness.
Structures. It has scoured the ground. We are right here where it crossed, and we have a lot of damage. Lot of damage.
We see it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, that house is flattened. That house is completely flat. And look how big that tornado is. That is getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Nightmare.
Right now. And look at that. I mean, those trees are just ripped apart. More.
So I've got footage I'll share with you here in a bit when I go to my X feed, extended footage on that. Prayers going out to everyone out there. We're in the midst of weather warfare like you've never seen it. Weather is a weapon, and it's not going to stop. I think, when it comes to hurricanes, big storms, lightning, tornado, that's the obvious because you can see it. But one of the most devastating forms of weather warfare can be something you really don't start to see until it's too late, and that is drought. And right now, you can look here, you can see the U.S. wheat futures here hit 2-year highs, which means the price of wheat is about to go through the roof. It already is. It all starts with futures. It all starts with future contracts. And when they think that prices a month or 2 months out or whenever is going to be way higher, those futures are going to be a reflection of that. And you're seeing it. Your average Joe, so to speak, isn't paying any attention to this. As long as they're getting by, everything's fine. I'm going to tell you what's about to happen. We're going to hit a brick wall. And it's probably going to happen right around the same time for everything. It's just going to become a point where that check is not going to cut it no more. And all the people that have been getting by check to check, just barely, which is a ton, it's going to bounce. It's going to bounce off. It's going to hit that wall, bounce off that wall. It's going to be done. We're going to be in a situation where, working everything that you do and you put in and even cutting back isn't enough. And that's a breaking point. That's why you see people putting out videos on social media. I see it more and more. And I see a lot of young women, especially, going online and they're just talking about the situation. Like, look, this is what I make. I work full time. I do this. They lay out all the numbers. And then they lay out the bills, the basic bills, living in a small apartment or wherever they're at. And they add it all up and they do it. And by the end, even the best of them like explode with a cuss word or two or in tears. They can't do it no more. Like, it's like, what are they supposed to do? They're screaming for help. I am witnessing the youth scream for help because they can't do it. We've even had our own family, youth in it, say the same thing, that had went out and got a job and was looking at the numbers and like, how is this supposed to work? Like, how there's no way possible with, what they're paying out here, jobs, what you can get versus the bills. So at some point, everything was going to go to hell because everything's rising and our income is not. Like, no one's income is keeping up with what is happening with prices. And it was designed that way. So I would say, and don't wait on the mainstream to tell you this, I'd say we're definitely in recession. They now have the war to blame this on, to blame anything on. Only problem is like Trump is responsible for that, but he don't seem to care. Some could argue it's Israel and he's just Israel's puppet, and that's pretty valid too. It's embarrassing. Whole world sees it, but economics, dropping bombs, all that stuff, and the weather, it's all tied in together ultimately, especially when weather's a weapon. So I said it before, from Colorado to Florida, we've got droughts going down, but we got wildfires popping up also all over the place because it's so dry. Even if you get a little bit of rain, the ground quickly soaks it up. If you still got anything out there like from last year, a lot of the leaves on the ground or anything like that, for the next week or so, I know in my area at least, there's a no burn thing in effect. There's like a ban where you can't be burning. And I'm not even in one of the major areas, in one of the darker areas. I'm in like, I'm not in a white area, but like a light yellow area there. Um, so I'm telling you, I'm seeing fires reported from all over the place, and they're growing. And when you look at the map, like the one in Florida down there by the Georgia border, man, that one has grown massive, and it's right here in this pocket of deep dark red that you see right here. Not to mention, there's some down here in the southern tip burning too. I mean, there's little fires popping up everywhere. But the reason you have a ban most of the time is because you have leaves on the ground still, dead stuff from last year, and everything's not green yet. As soon as everything starts popping green, which is doing right now, it does that for about a week or so. The chances of things burning are way less. Also, remember the sun drives wind. So if you get any fires going, it's a clear, sunny day out there. Sun drives wind, and even if you think you got a fire out, the sun can rekindle it and respark it. Seen it happen. And do not depend on forest services to save your property ever. If you've got a fire situation out there on a property anywhere in this country, you better do everything that you can to save it, because they will let it burn. They will let it burn unless it comes right up to a house. They'll do a ditch line. They'll do encircle the house because that's easy for them, I guess. And maybe if you've got some roads, you're lucky throughout your property or something around it, that'll serve as a break. It's about the only thing, because forest services will literally let it burn out in a circle contained. If it's your property, they'll let this sit there and burn all the way out in a circle, all the way around. Doesn't matter if it's 100 acres. They don't care. Long as they know that and they'll sit there, a whole crew, because I had it happen. They'll sit there and they'll watch it. Watch it just burn, and they won't do nothing because they're not sent with water. They're sent with like shovels and maybe a bulldozer to bulldoze out a fire line or some equipment like that. But with the fast moving large fire, that's not going to work. And I don't know, man. Personally, these government agencies out here, they'll tell you straight up, the guys, that they're trained to do these things, to just sit there and let it burn out within a contained radius. And if your house is in the middle of that, they'll go up there again and they'll try to contain it, put a little circle around it. But all the rest of your properties can get fried. And they do not care. Trust me, they do not care. I was out there with a neighbor trying to fight these fires. I'm not kidding you. Just me and him. Just me and another neighbor with buckets and like literally running to the creek and back up and like exhausting ourselves, running up a mountain, it was insane. It was insane. Like acres and acres on fire. And like, it was nuts. Don't mess around with the fire though. If you don't have a way out, don't chance it. This one right here says UBS warns that the drought shock unfolding across America is about to have a huge effect on our breadbasket. Now, how could it not? I just showed you the map there, and they go on to show more here on different outlooks. There's the same one we were just looking at, but it's not good. Now, you add to this the fact that 70% of our farmers can't get their fertilizer. I don't know what else to say. It's not good, right? Just not good. Steely, thank you for the coffee. Kathy, thank you for the coffees, man. Much love. Thank you for the support, guys. So just saying, if you're in an area that's seeing this hardcore, you're not alone. I feel like this is a weapon being pressed upon us. And then you see when you create these conditions, and then all of a sudden you do whip up a storm behind it. The ground's so hard that the water rolls right over top of it, and it doesn't soak into the earth, and that is a major problem because then it's just the water don't stop. I witnessed this when I went to Area 51. It was crazy because out there it's a desert, it's baked, ground's hard, just like I said, and they're not used to getting rain. Kind of the same kind of situation here if you're in a drought condition. And a huge storm came through. Um, Wild storm, and I got this on video. You can actually go and see this on my channel. Um, those flood waters ended up catching up to us. I was right at the front of them. And I was right at the very front where, like, the very first little trickles were coming, but right behind it was this massive, just like a river that was coming because it had nowhere to go. And it was not soaking into the ground. So be aware of your surroundings out there. When we were traveling, I'd never seen really nothing like that. I figured it was going to not be like that. But the storm we witnessed roll by and hit the mountains up there, all that washed off, it didn't soak into nothing. It just came straight down the mountains and was coming at us. So just remember these things. You're especially out west, man. Or in any crazy drought situation like that. All right, let's go to some energy. We've got a situation here where they're going to reset the grid, no doubt. I tell you all the time, you better be ready when the lights go out. And we talk about Tesla energy, really the fix to all this, right? Like what we call Tesla energy, free energy, 0 point energy. You can get right out of the ether. That's the ultimate power source, God-given ultimate power source. Tap right into it. Every business, every home, everyone. It's free right there. Boom. But see, they don't want that. We've known that for the longest time, ever since Tesla himself showed us this. When JP Morgan and them came along and were like, we don't want everyone to have free energy. We want to meter and charge them all and control them all, which they have done and they do. And it's sick. The energy bills have been insane. The people have already shown me. Just insane. And I was running some numbers here earlier, man. If people picked up a solar package for just a normal little home, and just did it, pulled out a loan, credit cards, whatever, just to pay for it. And some of these places will work with you on payments as well. You can get you a $25,000 package, which I know it sounds like a lot, but at the same time, again, when you're talking like you're getting a system that's going to last you 15, 20 years, it has warranties and everything else, it pays for itself within just a few years. In all those years afterwards, you're running off, it's paid for itself, and you're running free power, free energy for all that time. And yeah, you might want to save up for a spare part or two for by the time the warranty runs out, but that's a window, and it's growing out here. And I say, I'm telling you, man, with solar, like, it can mitigate the damage. There's there's no excuse. I don't see like any point in this life anywhere that I'm at why I wouldn't incorporate solar into the situation, just because it's such a good free source. Now, if you're somewhere it's cloudy, rainy all the time, this and that may not work for you. But if you're somewhere down south, from Texas to Florida, like, you're gonna get plenty of sunshine, and you should be utilizing that, in my opinion. It's not gonna get any better. the situation's not getting any better. We got to do something. And you got to do something for your family, for the future. Someone's going to make hard decisions, cut some vacations down, something. You got to do something. Because if people out here with barely nothing can make something happen, it can be done. Just don't do it government tied. Don't do it where the government's involved, where they're like, we'll come in and we'll do it. We'll pay for everything, all these rebates, all that crap. Because what they're doing is they're setting you up for a trap, grid tying you, connecting to where when the grid goes down, you'll be down too, just like they do in California. You cannot have this happen because you'll be sitting there with solar panels on your house or on your property in the dark when they impose brownouts and blackouts, because it will be on everyone like they've shown us. It doesn't matter. The people with solar panels look like fools sitting in the dark too because they fell for the trap. You need to independently do this, not go through no government program, and you need to be wise of the state that you're in. So I don't see, some of these states are going to be unsurvivable, so to speak, in terms of survival, unless people want to live these crazy ways. I don't know what's going to happen in every state. So they're all different, but they're talking about fusion energy. And I told you they're putting in these little nuclear plants underground all across the country. They got a license for it now. It's like this. Come on, roll out the free energy. You're putting little booby traps, little Chernobyls all over the place now, quietly. And, with the rollout of AI and data centers, they're trying to approve these little nuclear things left and right to help be a power source for them. Yeah, so let's go to the next one. Europe. Rooftop solar orders triple as gas prices surge. So you see where this is going. I showed this with the EVs. There was a surge in people buying EVs, which I don't recommend, but solar power is different. I know. I've been messing with it for a long time. And it's with today's technology, you can get bifacial solar panels. They collect light from the front and even the back. That's why they're called bifacial, which amplifies it a little bit more, gives them a boost. And it's just, the technology is at a point where, good 30 panel setup for someone, normal crate or whatnot from a place can power a house. And a lot of the systems are plug and play. They're not difficult. They're not like, scratching your head like, I don't know how to do this. Had to hook this up, because in the past it was like that, but it's not like that anymore. It's really simple. Got a big inverter set up. The batteries are just a plug in a piece, one communication wire, and it's over. Boom, boom, boom. And you can be sitting on a good setup. Now, I would go American made if you're going to do that. A lot of the components, no doubt, come from China in a lot of these industries, but we're moving away from that. The United States is trying to. They're trying to get a lot of people to make their components here, all the way down to the chips and everything, make them in-house, which is what you have to do. You have to. When your enemy is making, your alleged enemy out here on the world stage is the one making all those parts, you go to full-blown war, you're never going to get them. And you will never recover. That's like a full-blown setup and just absolutely foolish. You've got to do something to mitigate the damage. You got to start making it yourself. So, Signature Solar out of Texas is a good one that I found. They got good customer service, good everything. No, it's not a promotional code, but it's just letting you know of an American-made business out there that deals in this field that you can look into, because something's got to be done about the bills. It's never ending, right? If you can win that battle, you can then start to get ahead, right? Or at least have some kind of breathing room. Sweden is going to consider ways to limit energy use if the war continues in Iran. This is Sweden. All these other places, I told you this is a ploy. When you see this happening, you know there's been meetings, there's been discussions, like, World Economic Forum style, to do exactly what they want. Limit energy use. In the end, this becomes energy lockdowns. Okay, and that's going to suck in the middle of a really hot drought summer. They impose something like this, which could happen right in front of us, coming ahead. They've drug this whole war out this whole time. I'm telling you, just 2 or 3 more weeks, all kinds of places are going to be depleted. And Trump's doing this. He's holding it up. He is, and they know it too. Our allies are hurting in the midst of all this. Bad, like Australia. So bad they were rationing, people flipping out at the pump, the government flipping out. Like, oh crap. Like, the people are starting to come unhinged. So what happens? Trump sends them emergency fuel. It's a good ally. Good for them. That's a good ally. That's a good show of faith. And, if we were in a hard position, I would like to hope that they would do the same. So the whole world sees that we just helped our ally full scale here. But the hurting is what I'm. The only reason we're not seeing it bad here is because they positioned for all this, and they just went down and captured Maduro, dang it, and got control of everything down there. And they're the world power gun at this point. So, and you're holding up Hormuz. You got the whole Karg Island sitting right there in front of you. They could seize here at any moment. This is really hurting China and a lot of the rest of the world. Big time. It's like holding them hostage, even us. The prices are rising on everything, but it's an illusion because as long as he keeps gas down in that 4 to 5 range and don't let it pop out of that right where it's at right now, he's getting away with it. Now, Trump's numbers, man, are trashed. They're down the worst they've ever been. His polling numbers are the worst they've ever been, ever in history. And he doesn't seem to care because he just seems hell-bent on this war stuff now, and that's not a good sign, man. As you'll see when we get to some stuff here in a minute. Because, again, another week or two of this, things are going to start to crack. Our farmers are supposed to be planting right now, but they have a massive drought hitting them, and then they have, like, no fertilizer. In the meantime, the government or the DOJ, because I thought they did this earlier, that we reported on this earlier. I don't know. Maybe the DOJ didn't take part of it. Maybe they were just announcing it. Trump made the announcement. But pot stocks soar because the DOJ reclassifies medical marijuana as a less dangerous drug. Maybe last time it was just marijuana or something. But they're saying in this instance, pot stocks move higher in a pre-market trading after the Justice Department and the DEA announced that the FDA approved a marijuana-based drug and state-licensed medical marijuana products will be moved immediately from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. And they say this is a major shift in how the federal government classifies these types of cannabis products. But all in all, like none of the medicinal stuff should be, in my opinion, like controlled by them at all. It's just big pharma again, big pharma Kia. And like you gotta get a license to go fishing. You gotta get a license to go hunt a squirrel. Like get out of here. Like, license to control everything. I will say the positive, the silver lining out of this is it is a move in the right direction. Okay, because I've always felt like certain things, especially with medicinal value, and it's way more than that with marijuana. You've got hemp. Hemp is such a magical product. It is, in its own right, that it's God-given, man. And it's like, man, they know this. They've known this, and You can even look at the medicinals with shrooms as well. It's more on the psychedelic side, but they just made a huge move with that too, with Trump. Um, I don't have an article pulled up on it, but I read it. So it's like he is he doing this to appease the people? Like, I'm just wondering when Melania's going to come out of the closet here with another Epstein statement out of nowhere, or if they're actually going to try to bury that this time. Because ever since she came out and she gave that statement, it's got to feel like it's drifting away. Let's jump into the metals. Aluminum. JP Morgan says a major aluminum market shock. They've never seen anything like it. They have not seen a shock to base metals, aluminum, like this in the post 2000 era. So since 9/11, all that, they've never seen nothing like this, a shock like this. This is just aluminum. I could go down a long list of items here all night long that are supposed to be coming through that Straits of Hormuz that are affected. Now, when I told you we weren't affected by the oil as much, that was true because we're only seeing like 3% of our oil come through there, and they positioned for all this. But when it comes to other items, we're just like everybody else. Anything that's getting held up, like we're suffering for. And people finding out the hard way here in America that they're paying for the tariffs. You know, like Trump screwed everybody all the way around, and he don't care at this point. If you don't like what he says, it's screw you, see you. You're a loser. Like it's high school or something. I can't stand it. And all his little minions can say to you is, oh, you got TDS. You got TDS. You got TDS. Man, freaking tards. It's sickening. Like, you've watched these people sit there and protect this goon through everything. Through wrecking the economy, through rolling out warp speed. They turn a cheek to every single thing I'm saying here. To back in the slaughter of people in Gaza and everything else through Israel. Yeah, all that. Oh yeah, and did I mention Epstein and protecting pedos? Now what? What? See, they have no leg to stand on when it comes to this. Just chop, chop, chop away, and just get out of here. If you can't stand it, go over there, sink with the MAGA ship, because that's what it's doing. And it's fraud. It's done. It's seen its day. It's done. They used it. It was a magic trick. And everything has a window. See, there's the energy moves like a pendulum out there, one way and the back the other. And that's the scary part is they locked us down in a high window, which most people don't have no idea about any of this. But there was a window of high energy, occult wise, on the dark side, and it took advantage of it. And then everything kind of broke apart and fell apart, and gradually you swung back to a point now to where you could say we've been in an era of we went back to normal life, so to speak. There was no lockdown, 6 feet apart, masking up, all that faded away, right into the rear view, and we swung back into. But in that moment, the pendulum, in that moment of freedom, people don't realize is that pendulum starts swinging back the other way. And before you know it, if you ain't paying attention, you get blindsided like you did with lockdowns when the pendulum goes back into that opening, because that's where it's heading. It's back and forth, back and forth. And people are oblivious to this, except for those in the know and those that operate on these scales, higher powers. These windows, as above, so below, you hear it all the time, hitting right in front of your face. And they believe in hitting these windows in time that happen in the heavens and matching it with events below. Okay? A lot of their big occult events are like this. They love retrogrades. that play into the theatrics. 9/11 was a perfect example. Look at this. Microsoft. Who was it? Apple? Apple's top guy just announced that he was stepping out of like nowhere and like he was done, gone. It was like, hold on. These are the things you gotta watch when the top dogs start dipping off into the shadows. That's what is happening. So now Apple's dipping off. And now Microsoft plans the first voluntary buyout in its 51-year history. Okay. Now, that move will incentivize thousands of employees to leave. So this goes beyond just firing people and cutting, because in some instances, like they know that like people have been there a long time and people that they have under certain contracts, that if they just fire them for no reason, they're going to still have to pay them out money for X amount of time, all this other stuff. And they're trying to like work out a deal to save them some money on the top by offering maybe a larger lump sum up front for these people if they just leave. It's crazy. Why is all this happening? Because of AI. Because they're replacing a lot of the stuff with data centers, data center type of applications. The Gates Foundation, they are slashing 20% of their staff. Okay, so Meta doing the same thing, Meta layoffs. Like all of these huge companies are making big moves in not just firing people, they're like buying them out. That's where we're at with this. Okay. Now, beyond cookies, let me give you a big heads up here on something that's happened. You should pay attention to this because this is a new way. All right. You heard of cookies, right? Everyone's heard of cookies. Cookies tracks this, cookies tracks that. So cookies are a thing of the past. From here on, cookies are nothing at this point. Yes, some sites may still run them and this and that, and some things set up that have it incorporated, but it's worthless. I mean, for years, privacy was simple. You clear your cookies, use incognito mode, hit reject all on all them things that pop up. But that's way outdated. So they did a new study, and it shows that the $600 billion online advertising industry has moved away from cookies completely. This means everything, all the people, advertisers, those that are paying money to get your information out there and track you all the time, they're not using cookies no more. Okay? There's a new tracking method, and it's called a browser fingerprint or browser fingerprinting. And people, you gotta understand this concept now because it works even if you never even log in, never accept cookies, never legally, there's no way to opt out of it. So researchers at Texas A&M, they built a tool named FP Trace to measure exactly how all this works out in the wild. And they simulated real user sessions and like altered browser fingerprints. And they watched what happened to the ads that were being served and the bids, the money connected to it. They watched it all shift in real time. And the results were clear. When the fingerprint changed, the price that advertisers were willing to pay to a target, it changed with it. Every single shift, every single person, basically coming down, well, if they get on file, if AI thinks that you're stupid enough, it's going to make you pay more. That's a problem. Right now, right at the gate, and that's where we're at. And this is where it sits. There's nothing anyone could do about this. You can't opt out of it. There's no, just like the cookies thing, like you want to accept or no or not for a website. There is no option like that with this. Okay. So getting this FP trace, watching, they went in and they ran a test on this whole thing and showing that they got a whole back end system that no one can even, you can do nothing about at this point. It's no permission required, as you can see right there. Yep. And this is how it works. Check it out. Every time your browser loads a page on your phone or on your computer, it leaks dozens of tiny, seemingly harmless signals. You wouldn't think much of them. What I mean by this is you give off information that, like your screen resolution, your color depth, may not seem like much to you that someone finds this out, but it's part of a signature, almost like a biometric signature, right? The installed fonts that you have, the GPU model, the graphics capabilities, the audio processing signatures, your browser version, plugins, language settings, time zone. All of these are points of information and data that the fingerprint is collecting on you and holds on you. Whether you run an ad blocker or not, even your battery level, all of it, all of this combined creates a unique fingerprint that can identify your device with startling precision, with no cookies, no login, no pop-up asking for consent. Just loading the page is enough. You get it? Just loading a page now is enough. Okay? Just loading the page, and there's like no way to stop it. Yeah. Yeah, Princeton researchers tested the top 10,000 websites. Fingerprinting scripts were found on 88% of them. It's huge. Get to know it. Cookies is gone. It's fingerprinting. Digital browser fingerprinting is what it is. All right. Tether freezes 344 million of USDT because it was flagged for illicit activity. And I got this one lined up because this is why you never wanted a CBDC. This is why you never wanted a beast blockchain, anything like this. But Tether slid right on in. And this is why, though. Just like Bitcoin's their baby. Tether and Bitcoin is their baby. They track everything and they can freeze it. They can track and trace and freeze all of it. So 344 million here. Imagine that's your money, a part of it, just a couple million, whatever. Not even, just whatever amount, a part of it. They could say it's flagged for illicit activity. They could say it's flagged because you jaywalked and they caught it on camera and they're docking you $50 and then knocking 10 points off your credit score. Like, this is where it's going. That's how it's set up in China, and Google helped them do that, and that's where they're going globally and eventually here, everywhere. So I just want you to see, man, Tether themselves are connected to the hip with the government, just like Bitcoin. Whether some small timers out there just getting into the game that are green around the ears, don't get it, don't understand it yet. Like, Satoshi's not them. How do you, like, get out of here? Like, just, I'm telling you, you should see at this point, they control the game. And we know who created Tether. They got together on in the Bahamas, on the islands down there, but lawyers. Same guys that created, it wasn't Binance, it was the other one with the B at the time. Every bit of it. They created all of it. And we know this. And they've been pushing this whole time. They're in the same circles as Trump Jr., Eric, and Barron in terms of all this crypto stuff. Um, and because they pushed the legislation that allowed them to scam everybody, they did. They pushed it, and they're still doing it. They won't stop. You know that ever since the crypto moves off of Trump and Melania, that those two made, they don't mention on Barron, that Eric and Don Jr. They had in the range of like it was tens of millions, low tens of millions, like 30, 40 or something like that. But they're now worth hundreds of millions. And it was all because of the move in crypto that largely did it for them. Yeah, man. And how do you do that? Well, you take everybody's money. All that. All the people that lost it, where do you think it went? It went to making them rich. Right in front of your face. It'd be one thing if, like, I don't know. This whole thing with Barron is pretty crazy because a lot of this is tracking back to him and they're trying to keep him squeaky clean. But I'm not sure if that's gonna work, man. Because there's some things, man, connecting back to this kid that only he could be doing. Even AI agrees, and that's nuts. That a little Baron Trump isn't little anymore, huh? He's listening to Daddy's conversations, and he's placing bets on them. And he's not a member of Congress, and he's in this unique loophole, like a fly on the wall, that's getting away with doing all this. And his daddy ain't gonna do a damn thing, and he sure as hell ain't gonna get any trouble, right? If they won't take down Pelosi, if they won't take down any of these others, man, like they're not gonna do anything now. So the dollar is collapsing, and so that a lot of these trade deals that are going on in Hormuz, they're switching up away from the dollar. That's what Iran's saying. They're like, look, if you want to make a deal, if you want to buy oil or any goods, and you want to go through Hormuz, it's got to be in like the Russian currency, Chinese currency, something besides the US dollar. This is an attack on the dollar. But again, look, it's Trump creating this whole thing. I'm telling you, he is resetting all this. He said it himself. And this is all part of it. This drags out a couple more weeks. This is not going to be good. You're going to realize then just how hard it's going to be to get things. At some point, crazy enough, I think a panic point's going to set in. A panic point where people start to panic over items. Usually how it goes, and I'm telling you, and then that's going to cause a run on things, and there's not going to be items there for other people for a good amount of time because there's already a supply, and as long as nothing's getting through, nothing's ever coming. You see, for every day that goes by that they continue this, they say it's going to take weeks to recover. Like, people don't even understand the damage being done by doing this because they're so used to the system flowing normally, but the system is getting stopped and reset. I hope you understand this. Let's go to some crime. Well, I guess there's different levels to the crime, right? The feds uncover a DC area car theft ring. Not much to speak about, but it's not hard to do when you track everything with the flock system. And I got a video on that when I get to my X feed. My X feed's got some really good videos on it that we need to visit here at the very end of the stream for sure. Top of the hour. Here we are. All right. Let me give a shout out to everybody on all platforms. Much love. Everybody out there on DLive, on Rumble, and on YouTube. We don't know when the last stream's going to be for D Live, but should be live there tonight. It doesn't look like they're going to make it out of April, though, so not many left. Thank you, Kev Bar, for sharing the stream. Lone Star. Everybody out there, man, much love. Much love. Thank you, DN, for everything. Always. And just everybody out there fighting the fight, all the pure bloods, everyone fighting a good fight, a righteous fight, living life righteous. Just fighting a good fight. I thank you to the fullest. Again, anyone that shares the stream, thank you very much. Anyone that supports the stream, super chats, coffees, all that, appreciate it to the fullest. And yeah, my email, dabu7@yahoo.com. Right there if you need to get anything to me. And like Chibi just did, you can at me in the chat and it lights it up in red. Blessings right back at you. Much love. God bless. If you hear some wild critters in the background, I don't know what they are, but there's a lot of them. It's the mountains, man. Like whatever's out there is some kind of bird I can hear right now. And there's also coyotes that sound like hyenas. And they come like, 20, 30, 40, 50 deep. And they can get loud too. Much love, Gabe. God bless you. Christ is King. Hey, thank you so much. God bless. Meet the flockers, huh, Jay? This I'm gonna turn it over. We're gonna switch gears here. We're gonna dive into we're gonna level up here into the more crazier stuff here. And thank you, Kev Bar. Hey, brother, you always got a friend right here. You understand me? If I lived closer, we'd be hanging out like all the time. Man, you over for dinner, shooting some pool, all that. Just you're one of the riders, bro. If you guys don't know, I met Kev Bar. He came to one of the conferences, and as soon as I laid eyes on him, I just knew he's one of the good guys, and always been there, man. Much love. I hope things are going good. I'm always here, man. If you need me, bro. I would love to meet a lot of you, and I have hope that that's going to happen. It just whatever we were trying to do this last time didn't go down, but we got something that's going to go down. This story, the next one I'm going to crack into, this when one drone or two drones are stolen, like we talked about that happened in Kentucky, it's kind of like some people thought, if they're just regular little DJI, Phantom drones, there's no problem. Like, well, there is a problem. Those can be weaponized big time. And that's a video I can't show you. That's on my X. If you guys want to go over there, I actually have the footage up there of guys getting hit with drones on the front line, unfortunately, getting killed. I tell you about it all the time. But the guy I follow doesn't allow you to share, but I found another guy that shared one of the clips, and I shared it just for the educational purposes that you need to understand what we're facing. There's guys in houses that think that they're completely safe, and this drone dips down and will find a way into the building. And like the dude takes off running for his life, and the drone gets him. And like people think they're safe in these places, man. If a drone can get in it, it can see you through the walls, even thermal and everything else, man. But technology, like this is no joke. Drones are they are a death weapon that like you have not until we go into war mode and this place starts to break down will people see. Those that listened to shows like this and heeded the warning signs, they'll know that that's what's going on, man. These weapons of war, these drones are big time. Gotta learn to counter it. I guess we'll talk more about that as things progress. Luis, thank you for the coffees. But this story is eyebrow raising because it's not just a couple. Like in Kentucky, they caught those guys. But these are big, 15 powerful agricultural spray drones. This was a coordinated heist that took place in New Jersey. Same place we saw the mystery drones, but these are no mystery. These are the type of drones that are built for precision. They're designed to disperse large amounts of liquid over targeted areas, and they use programmed GPS routes as well. So, this same capability has troubled counterterrorism officials since right around 9/11, they say, when fear centered on crop duster planes flown by a lone pilot popped up. So this is like right around the same thing. And then you tell me how all this gets stolen and they get away with it. So Steve Lazarus, he's a retired FBI agent. He told the high side that the Bureau is actually freaked out right now for a good reason. And they're not trying to get people out there freaking out. But how can you not get people freaked out when you're sitting there saying that they're freaked out? And that all the talk in the inner circles is that, these aren't hobby drones with cameras. Like, these things are taken to spray something and disperse a significant amount of liquid quickly and with precision. And that it only takes a matter of minutes, especially with a pre-programmed GPS route. You can target anything anywhere and do a lot of damage. And is your local police force, depending on what if they came to your neighborhood right now, your city, your local city, is your local police have even the ability to take one of these things out of the sky? You could argue, yeah, with the gun, but these things are quick. They can, I don't know, and I don't even know if they're going to permit them to do that. I would say that anyone should be able to defend themselves and their property. However you got to do it. But, everything's such a setup out here. Look, let me say this. I'm a drone pilot, okay? So I think I know a little something about all this here. Mustard gas. I don't know why, but the chat just... Let me get a refresh real quick. I should have done this right at the top. Oh, there we go. All right. Anytime that I've tried to take my drone and I've taken the drone to a lot of crazy places. A lot of precarious places, man. Like, just wild places, man. It's taught me some lessons, some things. It showed me, just the drone itself it showed me things. For instance, you can't even go to a national park like Zion or any of those beautiful places out there in our country and fly a drone. They won't let you. Why? What do you have to hide? It's what you should all be asking. Okay? So the drone itself brought that up. Okay? And thank you, Kenzo. Much love. God bless. New York. I had it up in the sky. And I never knew about the technological bubble that's over New York, but it's there. And other major cities are said to have it as well. And I just didn't believe it until I experienced it. And you're never going to see it unless you experience it. Kind of the only way that you can is how I did. And it's with the drone. I was flying a drone just south of where the towers went down, right there in downtown in New York City, down by the water. And I got some crazy awesome footage and all that good stuff. But during flight, the wind pushed me out toward the sea, toward the water. And when it did, it was in visual sight. Anytime it's in visual sight, I've always had control of the drone. And no matter how far out the dang thing went, as long as I could see it and it was right there in my line of path, it's like I always maintained it. And this didn't seem to be too far. But I'd say right around the lowest level of a plane, an aircraft, a helicopter level, right around there, I lost all connection. And I was like, what? Like, it wouldn't respond. It was like everything was gone. And I was watching the wind kind of pushing and pushing. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, dude, and it stopped and it just sat there. And I'm like, dude, why is it? The wind's kind of having its way with it up there. And like, nothing I did was doing anything with the drone. Then all of a sudden, like, the wind kind of shifted and pushed it back a little bit back toward me. And it was like the graces of God. And it must have came onto the inside of this bubble. Because as soon as it did, I had full control again. And I brought the thing back and I got it down. And like the batteries down there dead and everything else, I barely got it down. But I'll never forget it because I ended up doing research after that on like what could possibly cause that. And like I come to find out that like it's not a secret. Like they have a technological bubble over the city. I'm like, what the? I'm like, I experienced it. Like, and I was like shut out of it until the wind pushed. It was crazy. It was like a once in a lifetime type of ordeal that like showed it. It was nuts. And I could speak to it now. Not everybody can be aware that it's there. And I'm going to say that Chicago, LA, because when I read up on it, it said other big cities also incorporate the same defensive measures, as they put it. Counting the lady, thank you for the coffees. Appreciate that, and Tony, I'll be reading up on that. So, with all that said, okay, I've taken it to all the Trump rallies. I took it to the RNC, right? And this is where I have a lot of questions. They stopped me from taking flight up in Cleveland. Like, the government is tracking every single drone everywhere. And if you go into restricted space, they know. Let me tell you. I took a test route in Cincinnati from DeVue Park up in the hillside, over the river, right through the Golden Balls on top the bridge toward the stadium, over the river, and stopped over the river looking down into it. And they seen this and they flipped the wig. They flipped the wig, like dared me to do this live on the night of the stuff. You know, they knew my exact path. They watched everything. They had to track and trace. They threatened everybody in the tri-state that night, the next night on the All-Star game night. If they flew a drone, they would go to jail. It was crazy. Never seen anything like it. And then they flew their drone in the opening act, the opening scene, right through the balls like I did. They mocked me. I swear to you, they mocked me. Like, screw them. Anyhow, the whole thing with drones, I tried to take it off at several Trump events, and they wouldn't let me. You're not allowed. So if you go on DJI's site, in any site that has a GPS routing in it, like this one says, it has a major system in it that tracks to a database that as soon as you fire it up, it knows where you're at. Now, this is part of how it operates, so there's really no disabling it, especially if you're going to use the GPS. Say you're going to attack somewhere with it, and that's what they're going to do with this, and they're going to use the GPS and put the coordinates in, and they're going to fly in, they're going to hit exact targets like they're saying, and spray and do all that stuff, right? Well, it has to have the GPS stuff working. You can't disable it. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you never forget this, that like they can track all those moves, and when this thing is powered on, right, they can pick it up off a satellite, and they can know where it's at, and they can pinpoint it. GPS pinpoint exactly where it's at, man. So whoever stole these things, the moment somebody fires one of them up, there's no way to hide where you're at unless they take this into a big Faraday cage type of building. And then they start messing with them and going to town with them. Which is possible. I don't know what they're going to do here, but it seems they keep planting the seeds. Like there's going to be an attack with drones, and they're making sure that the public knows it because there's enough events happening here. These are big. These are agricultural. So, you know, if it's an attack literally with these things, it would make no sense to really to do one to use explosives with these. Little old DJI drones are like the best. Again, go watch the video clip. They're really the top notch weapon right now in the front lines. Little DJI drones with explosives on them. These with the chemicals, they'd be used for just that, dispersing chemicals specifically. That is getting nasty because you have no idea what they're about to do. Radiological contamination. I mean, what kind of concoction are you going to have whipped up in there? Something brand new? Like, and like, this is how it's set to begin? Like, that will be a nightmare. I'm going to tell you that. Like, the brand new COVID, a brand new whatever's released, and this is how it was done, and this is how it all began. Like, something like this. What's crazy is, like, this is how the storyline potentially would start. Or something like this. We're going to watch it, man. Oddly enough, China testing directed energy beams that recharge the drones in mid-flight. So you got laser weapons, right, that our military's using to blast these things down, and they've been doing it at a rapid pace here recently, down by the border. Now, you've got these drones that were just stolen. Now, China is showing that they can just hit a drone with this beam of energy and power it up. That's crazy. This could, in turn, be exactly what has been fueling the mystery drones the entire time. Just peppering them, just hitting them with the beam. A little beam here and there, a little pepper. I mean, it's like you can never stop that. You could just keep hitting it, powering it up. You would never catch it. Yeah, especially if the directed beam is on satellites. And the satellites could just send little... These are directed energy beams. So they're not saying they're like lasers. But I don't know the wavelength, and I don't know what it could fry coming in. A lot of dead birds going to be dropping. On the last stream, I played the clip where our space commander dude said that Russia has a weapon up there that they believe is a nuke in space, and if they detonate it, it will wipe out almost all the other satellites. What he failed to mention was the EMP ripple effect that it would cause on the earth below and would wipe out civilization. He did not mention a single word about that, and that is super suspect. How do you go talking about such an event and not make a single mention of the devastation it will cause below? Like, something's coming. Not to mention, remember, the Iran Lego movie showed them dropping one over the U.S. Just one. Lights out. Here is a story on karma that I wanted to throw into the mix. A millionaire, American big game hunter that's known for going out and killing lions like you see here, unfortunately, for no reason, which I can't stand. I personally can't stand it. I like life, even though a lion is vicious. Let it run and do its thing in its habitat. Like, I don't want to see people just hunting them, kill them for no reason. Anything to be hunted and killed is like a waste, I believe, in the Most High would be pissed. As far as I'm concerned, I'm creating all these creations and you're just out there wasting it, and killing it just for your own little enjoyment. Your little shot of dopamine, whatever you're getting from it. Well, this millionaire got karma. He was on an expedition in Gabon where him and another guy were trying to go in and kill an innocent, shy bird of some sort. And they happened to startle a bunch of elephants. Just so happened to be several and a calf. And it was 5 females. They got pissed. And the professional hunter that was with him here was thrown to the side. He lost his gun in the bushes. And that guy suffered serious injuries, but he survived. But Docio, this millionaire guy, was trampled to death by the elephants. They just had a little trample party on him and stomped him to death. Stomped him out. And what they say about live by the sword, die by the sword type of thing out there, like karma, man. Karma. Seems God got him. When the animals strike back, right? Like, here's a crazy event that happened today. I wanted to share with you that was caught on film. They said that 23 people were injured when these buses crashed head on. Play this clip. Right here, they're zooming in. You're going to see the one from the left and this one to the right over here. Right. Bam. And the one on the left even hit the brakes, seeing it coming. The one on the right, it kept rolling. Just boom. Again, the forward motion. They never hit the brakes at all. So, I mean, just at first glance, I mean, this bus also seems to be as close as it could be on the right side of here in the right lane, without hitting this stuff. I mean, it looks like it's right there. So, it looks to me like this other bus was at fault. But hey, no one killed. Crazy footage. Here's another crazy incident. I think I posted this on X. I'm not going to play the footage, but this still shot, screenshot shows you the severity of it. This guy, this goon, stops this young girl, young, innocent, tiny girl in the street and tries to make an advance on her. And she shuts him down. She's like, no, get out of my way. Like, and tries to leave. She turns around, tries to walk the other day, broad daylight. This dude, huge dude, runs up, picks her up, body slams her head into the ground, and then stomps on her freaking head. Dead. This is a special place reserved for cats like this. You get special punishment. Where I come from. It would be made sure he would never do this again. So this guy's mother comes to his defense. A 14-year-old girl. No. He's a 14-year-old boy. He's just a huge boy. 15-year-old girl. He's huge. You'll see right here. You see right here. He's massive. Right, look at him. It's disgusting.
Right? I just gotta smack this shit out of you right now, right?
Do it.
No, you stand right here.
You won't.
No, you stand right
Trying to escape.
here. You stand right here.
Well, no, she got your pussy.
Let's go to word.
Fuck it. And I'm stopping it right there. He suplexes her down. She's knocked. He slams her on the ground and then stomps on her head. I'm gonna tell you what, and they think it's cool, think it's funny, and they think this and that. Like this piece of work's mom, right here trying to defend him. I'll play this clip.
Did he say why he stomped on her head?
She's been a bully to him.
She was being
She's been a bully to him.
Yes, from in the classroom of the classes what they have, and some messages what I sent to his phone from her. We learned she's been a bully to him and pushed him down, and he fell.
So then he picks her up because of that and stomps on her head. That justifies that.
No, they were What I learned is like they were friends. They are friends overall in general because they go to the same school. You understand?
Yeah.
That would show that she's bullying him.
Yeah, we have it. It's online.
Do you know the name? What do you mean it's online? Online where?
You know her name? I'm not allowed to give
Was he trying to get her phone number? Was he trying to date her?
He has her number. She's on Instagram. She's on WhatsApp sending messages and trifling him.
So where are the texts that we
have
can
them.
see them? Where can we see the texts?
I'm at the top for you guys.
Bunch of garbage. I hope that guy's prosecuted to the fullest. And I don't know. I don't have much faith in this busted system that allows these fools to just go right back on the street. How can you live somewhere if this happened to your child and they're lenient? All right, off to the next one. We've got a U.S. nuclear chief caught leaking sensitive information. We'll play a quick clip of this and then show Hexeth's response.
If he does the same way as did everything, we're gonna shoot missiles and destroy some stuff.
Yeah.
But if you want to like win, if you want to like make the country do what you want, you have to put people there.
This hearing something that we killed kids in the car. Did we actually?
There's been some collateral.
All right, well, we're going to stop that there because of this background music. It's usually the problem with playing these O'Keefe things because he's always trying to catch people out somewhere where they're playing music and eating and having drinks. Seems to be the tactic. Go get them all boozy and with someone that's attractive, and they'll start talking. And that's what they do. Well, Hexeth said this guy's been fired. He's gone.
Here. Thank you. Michael Casey, the O'Keefe Media Group. Earlier this week, James O'Keefe published a story on Department of Army Nuclear Chief Andrew Hugg, who revealed top secret national security information to a stranger he met on a dating app. Will you defer Mr. Hugg for termination and prosecution?
Yeah, he won't work here anymore.
And given the revelations,
It's an easy one.
will any changes be made to the current anti-espionage training for all Department of War employees now, given this?
Well, we're always on the lookout for CI threats, any internal threats, anyone talking out of school about things they should not. We take leaking very seriously here, informally or formally, which is why some of the reporting done by some of the people in here is incredibly problematic. They're willing to publish things based on classified information that would potentially harm those in harm's way. And we think them doing so is incredibly irresponsible and unpatriotic. And it would encourage members of the press to think twice about the lives they're affecting when they publish things in their publications like the New York Times. Yes.
And Giangelo, I can't thank you enough for the information. Warships leaving right now. New personnel barge. He let me know also about the A-10s. I'm going to get to that here in a second. The A-10 Warthogs that have been used in the strikes recently. Next one says that a judge overturns the firearms prohibition on James O'Keefe. Now, if you guys don't know, James O'Keefe had the cops called in where they seized all of his firearms in his West Palm Beach vicinity. They showed up to the newsroom. There's a couple clips here. I'll play this one. You can see them coming in right here to get them.
So we keep walking all the way back.
The lawyer.
There's ottoman over here. Everything's on. This is all three? Yep, this is it.
definitely go in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's on the paper. Date of birth and everything. I'll get it when we get down. Make sure. And he didn't have any. No, we good. All right.
We'll figure it out.
You guys need anything from him?
We just needed his. I mean, as long as we.
I've got his date of birth.
Okay, we'll grab that when we.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. They don't need to see James.
There he is walking right on by him. He's walking out with the stuff. Well, listen to what this guy's got to say when this stuff's made political. Watch this.
But don't you feel bad because he was your friend?
I would kill him because he is one of the most evil people I've ever known.
This guy shot up my book and bragged that he wants to kill me. There's a bullet right through my heart.
The second I saw him get shot, I wished that was my immediate first reaction was why couldn't it have been okay?
I have 1,000 sources in the DOJ and CIA I talk to all the time.
Okay.
That's why I fed the Southern District tons of shit to try and get him in prison.
So could you tell us the truth about who you fed dirt to SDNY? And you're a rat. You're an FBI informant.
No, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
I've already fed the Southern District tons of shit on him.
Could you tell us more about how you said you were a confidential informant to the SDNY?
About you?
Who did you feed SDNY information? You.
So this obviously gets super heated. He has enemies. I mean, when you're doing this line of work, what do you expect? I'm thinking but I think that's garbage that they could just show up. That guy he's suspecting, he was just going off on, pulled some strings or called somebody, had somebody do something to where he had all of his guns yanked. But as you can see here, the update is that a judge overturns the firearms prohibition on O'Keefe. So he should have got his weapons back. Because I'll tell you this, if they take his weapons and then right behind it, something happens, and say there's a break-in and they're injured or killed, did they get their asses sued off? Because they left them a sitting duck, defenseless, for no valid reason. You see? There has to be a probable cause, a good reason. And even for a judge to, and I know that different cities and different states and different stuff have different rules and laws on the books, but it would suck to be somewhere where someone can just call and, try to say, oh, there's a problem. And, have the cops come with no validity to it, like swatting and this and that. I don't know. This next one, RFK Jr. tells Senate that glyphosate causes cancer. Okay. Are they going to do anything about it? No. Are you guys going to do anything about Monsanto and Syngenta? No. We have had Americans here in this country. We've had people win cases against these companies, proving that this stuff causes all kinds of damage. And they're still in operation. The same government, the same Trump administration that he works for, just authorized and greenlit the use of all this stuff on a large scale. Why didn't you say something to them? Why didn't you stop that, RFK? Instead, he goes out here and he says what we all already know, the obvious that, yeah, of course it does. But what are you doing to stop it? Nothing? You should be shutting down Monsanto and Syngenta. You should be working on mitigating the damage all this time. We've been going to protests like the March Against Monsanto for years. I would like to see it spring back up. I think it kind of died off, but it'd be nice to see something out there, some kind of march. let's jump into the dead scientists. We've got yet another, and this is wild. Another NASA scientist dead, this time a nuclear propulsion expert found inside of his charred car. Crashed Tesla, burn up. They find his body, this Joshua LeBlanc, 29. This is nuts because a lot of these people are connecting back to Huntsville, Alabama. The Amy girl that went missing, Huntsville. Okay? This guy, he was a cutting edge nuclear thermal propulsion engineer. He mysteriously went missing. He left his phone and everything else at the house when he left for this, which family said there's no way. He and others make these statements like, I'll never kill myself if anything happens to me. It was not me, and then they're gone. They said they tracked his Tesla to setting at the local airport, Huntsville International Airport, for 4 hours. It then took off west, where it eventually slammed into some trees and erupted into flames, they say. They showed up and found him charred, burnt beyond recognition. Dude, get out of here. Like, this is ridiculous. What's crazy is just the week before, this guy, NASA-linked aerospace engineer James or Tony Moffat, his entire family killed. Him and his entire family go down in a plane crash. He also from Huntsville. All these cats connected back to this program, dude. I'm telling you, people getting silenced left and right. And there she is. R.I.P. all of them. All of them, man. There's something major going on that we've never seen. We've never seen. Also, no updates here on the general that just vanished. Again, left his phone behind, and just like the other, almost like someone used the same tactic and told him and this latest person, yo, leave your phone at home and meet me here. And when they did, this isn't good. Like, dude could have had his neck snapped by any killer, CIA killer that was sent to meet him in a heartbeat. And they programmed the Tesla to take off down the road and smash into something. Like, they could have done anything. Like, I find it odd that several of these people left their things that they never leave behind, and they make these statements that they would never take their own life and stuff. But look, I've got some updates on David Wilcock and the whole thing. I'm gonna show and go over all this here at the very end here. As soon as I get through the rest of these stories, we'll pull up the X. And on X, I've got some important stuff we gotta dive into. Some important updates. Here's one. The DOJ reinstates the firing squad as the official federal execution method. Like, really? So, let's go to this next one. Skip that. We've got Warsh about to take over for Powell. For those that don't know, some may not care, but this guy is all about the Great Reset. And I'm telling you, it's all about to go into motion. I've warned about this. So when it all unfolds right before your eyes, you're like, oh my God. Look. Sometimes you've got to make moves, man. And not just watch this stuff. I kind of feel that they're tearing this place apart by design. Like, you can't get straight up revolution. They're turning states against states, like California against Texas and New York and Florida, and we could see that. And thank you, Kimmy, for the coffee. Wraps are ready. But we got Ken Griffin pissed at Mom Donnie's latest stuff, and I'm going to show you right here what he's done. And with Mom Donnie doing this, he's going to run all the big money out of the city. This is the threat when you do something like this to anywhere. Yes, you can tax the rich, put some kind of tax on them, but when you attack them and make it full-blown obvious here and call people out, there's going to be repercussions. And not that King Griffin's any angel, but if he pulls all of his projects, he's got to plan projects for $6 billion. They're about to stop. That's going to affect NYC, let me tell you. And when all of his buddies do the same, everyone else starts doing the same, like all the investment leaves NYC, it will rot. And it's not good. Look, here, I'm going to play this clip. This is Mom Donnie trying to brag about it. But I just explained to you the end game every single time of which he doesn't. Now, should the rich be paying a chunk and probably more than the other people? Yeah. But to go excessive on them and to just declare we're coming for 10% of all your profits and we want millions and all this. I don't know. Business is set up to prosper because of certain things, and when you remove those things, it's not going to flourish as much. Now he is arguing that he's going to put a tax on them because he doesn't live there, because Ken doesn't live there. Some could argue they could see a valid point in that. Others would say no. Free enterprise, America. How can you have a business set up in every city? You can't live in every city. So that's going to be the argument there. So I don't know. I'll play the clip here.
When I ran for mayor, I said I was going to tax the rich. Well, today, we're taxing the rich. I'm thrilled to announce we've secured a pied-à-terre tax, the first in New York's history. This is an annual fee on luxury properties worth more than $5 million, whose owners do not live full-time in the city. Like for this penthouse, which hedge fund CEO Ken Griffin bought for $238 million. This pied-à-terre tax is specifically designed for the richest of the rich, those who store their wealth in New York City real estate, but who don't actually live here. But even so, they're able to reap the huge financial rewards of owning property in, dare I say, the greatest city in the world. And most of the time, these units are sitting empty, since again, they don't actually live here. This is a fundamentally unfair system that hurts working New Yorkers. Now, it's coming to an end. This tax will raise at least $500 million directly for the city. It'll help fund things like free childcare, cleaner streets, and safer neighborhoods. As mayor, I believe everyone has a role to play in contributing to our city, and some a little bit more than others. Happy Tax Day, New York.
So he's presenting this plan to others as his way to get $500 million or whatever you just said there, like a huge chunk of money for the city. Problem is, you run those guys out of town, you ain't getting no money. They're gone. And that's exactly what King Griffin is saying here. He's like, oh yeah, you singled me out. We're planning on spending $6 billion on a project that will produce 6,000 construction jobs and more than 15,000 permanent jobs on 350 Park Avenue. He's like, dude, we'll halt it. We'll stop it. You won't play this game. And let me tell you, if this happens, you're going to see a huge split and divide. I mean, you're already seeing it with California. And I guess it was destined here to happen with New York at some point when the big dogs start exiting. And it is what it is. Again, The problem with the socialism is that it's a big talk up front, but when it comes down to it, it never works out. It always ends the same, not working. And again, if you run the people out of there, there goes all the big projects, there goes all the jobs. And your jobs are a hard thing to come by right now. At a time where AI is coming up, anywhere Ken Griffin's going to go with that project that's going to produce 15,000 permanent jobs is huge. He's going to take that. If it's not going to be NYC, he's going to take it to another city. And I'm telling you, his buddies are following. A lot of people in Texas were going, or a lot of people in California were going to Texas, but I've noticed a trend as well as a lot of people from New York go to Florida. Skip that one. We're going to go to a UK police officer arrests a pastor for preaching the gospel. This is ridiculous. This is where it's at with the UK. A pastor preaching the gospel in the streets gets arrested while they let migrants run amok and destroy the place. It's insane. I mean, this Vanderlaan or whatever, like she should have like a criminal arrest warrant. The big ass dome. Yeah, like she's treasonous as they come. Sold all the people out. Like I pray the people in these countries, Germany, France, UK, Ireland, they all just rise. A huge wave of them. I see the farmers trying to do something. They're like the only ones that have any organization. It seems. At least it's something. It's better what we have in America, you could say there. They were just hitting the parliament buildings with the manure again. And like you don't see that here. Like we need to get something going here in America. I guess people just aren't pissed off enough yet, but outrage here after this von der Leyen group labels Turkey as an enemy. Who else did that? Israel. That's right. Recently, it's become clear that Turkey is next on the list, and they're letting everyone know it. Turkey and even Moldova outside of Ukraine. There's whole new war fronts popping up on the radar. People need to pay attention to, because these war fronts, if the others close, like say Ukraine comes to a close, Moldova will be the new extension of it. Or maybe it doesn't close. Maybe it just expands. To me, I would tell you, I personally believe we're in World War. We're in it right now. We're in the beginning phases of it. And I know that most people out there expect to see big nukes before they say, oh, we're in World War III. But like, that's the end game, man. Nukes fly, cities destroyed, millions wiped out. Like, that's end game. You go back and look at World War II. Might have ended with Nagasaki and bombs dropped on Japan. But like, there was a bunch of overlapping events and things that were going down that led up to that where the world was in World War II. Different war fronts spread, different allies helping, sending different troops to different countries, and the war front expanding all around the globe globally. It's what it's done. And it's at a point now to where it's clear Zelensky extending the olive branch to Israel, and the exchange of weapons and all this stuff, where all that sits. So Turkey is what I call a linchpin type of country, because they're kind of like the last ones left out there, so to speak, in terms of powerful countries. It's interesting because they're supposed to be a NATO ally. They have our nukes sitting in their country, positioned. We have nukes sitting in there because they're supposed to be an ally. But yet, you now have Israel in Europe, like saying, like, no, they're an enemy. So it's like, okay, what are they? You know what happens when these guys look at you like you're the enemy? like they're next on the chopping block. And if they have all their assets in the area hitting Iran, do you think they're going to stop there when Turkey's just right there? They would hold the same positioning. They would maneuver a couple things different, but largely in the southern oceans, I mean, they would be holding a lot of the same positions. Although it would be interesting to see what they did in dividing up certain things, because you can't get up to some of them upper bodies of water. They would just have to send aircraft. There is no like Straits of Gibraltar. Once you get up in that Mediterranean, you're there. All the rest of those big bodies are lakes or big bodies of water. It's crazy war front here in Europe. I don't know what's going to happen. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but I'll tell you this much. The left-leaning Europe is letting it be known that they're betting on new leadership in America. This is beyond Trump and exactly who it is. I'm going to tell you that being this far out from an election, and we already knew that Newsom was the man, that was their pick. But tell you, when they telegraph it like this, it's over. When they're already holding meetings and diplomatic stuff with their man, it's obvious. Okay, and that's what they're doing. And it says it in the title. Europe bets on Newsom to reverse Trump's America. Dude, this is what's coming. This is what is coming. I hate to say it. But this is what they're going to give us. Just like they gave you a Biden. And there's nothing, you see, this time, so many people can be pissed off at Trump that most people will just buy Newsom first time around. For some change or something. And would believe that people voted for him because things get so bad here. And dude, we got to 2028. Trump is fitting to reset this place, so it's going to get bad. But he don't care. He knows he was sent to do it. He's doing his dirty work in the end here. Trump is, man. He's here to do all this dirty stuff, support Israel and all the crazy warfare stuff, and reset the globe here with Hormuz, and it will affect the dollar that he likes weak, and he would love to see reset. And remember, they're connecting this to a digital dollar. That's the whole move here. And you can't do that until after the reset. This is why they haven't done it yet, up to this very single day, right now. I just told you, Warsh is going to be in there. Some people are like, woohoo, who's Warsh? Warsh is taking over the Fed, which is not even really the federal government. It's just called the Fed. Okay? Powell will be gone, and Warsh is trained to roll out the Mar-a-Lago Accord. Okay? What is Mar-a-Lago Accord? It deals with the financial restructuring of this country, in the U.S. financial system. It's all planned, man. And we've known about it forever. And now we're here. We're actually here. As May rolls in, Warsh gets in there, like any moment. Like any moment, things could go into effect any time. So, say they held the markets hostage for the next 2 weeks or something. Like he'll be in there by then. So anything could happen from here on. I expect an event will affect the banks big time. You will not be able to get money out. Everything is going to be frozen, and they'll want you to go to their new digital dollar. It's the only way it will work. There's only one way it happens. There's only one way to hold your money hostage and get everybody to download a new app for a digital dollar. And that digital dollar is already to be accepted at every gas station, every store out there. It's been a setup. This whole thing is a setup. So look, Newsom, they say he's going to reverse Trump's America. He's not going to reverse everything. He'll reverse anything that was good for the people, probably. But he will press. He won't do nothing about like Trump's executive order on Antifa being declared domestic extremist, he won't do nothing about that. He will actually use the same executive order against MAGA. You watch. And the table's going to turn. It's going to become a witch hunt. It's these goons out here that are out there protecting pedos. When this whole thing does get turned all the way again, if they're still out there, you know, when Trump's out of here, out of office, still out there tweeting Trump this, Trump that. I'm so disappointed with these fake patriots. It's pathetic. It's done massive damage to saving this country. It's lightweight. It's treasonous is what it is, straight up. Especially cats that took an oath to defend this place. Well, they have a choice. You either defend the government, the beast, or you defend the people, the country. And they bitched out. Bitched out. Want to sleep comfortable at night. They bitched out. So what's happened? That's why we're in this position. So a salute to everyone that gets up and rides. And when I say those things, I say them directed at a specific group of people that have an influence, they have a large following out there that are supposed to be big patriot dudes and are busters, sellouts, rolling with pedos. Makes me sick. It's all treasonous. What the feds just say earlier, they were bringing back the firing squad? Only if. Huh? Treason. What's treason? Huh? What's the definition of treason? Huh? What is it? What is it? Let's get to the bottom of it. And let's see who's doing it. Huh? Yeah. I'm telling you, when tables could turn, you know, and I know a lot of people voted for Trump because they believed this and that, and they admit they were fooled. I don't believe in someone that voted for Trump getting hunted down. That's garbage. You know, MAGA's one thing, and I call them out because I call out MAGA because where we're at, they're still protecting pedos, and it's the real deal. That's why this country's screwed. And Iran's over there making fun of us. You know, Epstein Empire over here, running things. And it's ridiculous because they're right. And that's screwed up. Like we're in the belly of the beast. You understand that? That's real talk. All right, look, I'm gonna play this next clip. This is a woman explaining. This is this Cho lady, Democrat, basically explaining how they're gonna go after the other side, exactly as I'm telling you. And look, I've shown you flashes of this, glances of this before, other commentary where guys have come out and said, you just wait till we're in there. You just wait till we're in there here next. It's like, you see, these elites that are in there, they know the script. They know they've done it the whole time. And some of them talk with so much hype that you can almost feel it and see it. Like they know that Newsom's in there next. They know the plan. They know where this goes next. Which is, I just showed you, Europe is like, you know, courting Newsom all over the place. Like, give me a break. Like this is the dude they want. And they're already kissing ass to. Like he's going to be the one calling shots for the powerhouse America. Well, will it be a powerhouse? I have a feeling before Trump's done with it, a reset means knocking us off our perch. I don't see how the next 9/11 does not happen on his watch. Explain to me how it don't. Especially when the guys with black hats control him. So
our language against us, you know, like when they were saying like, oh, the Democrats are the reason why the government is shut down. And when Caroline Levitt says, well, their cruelty is the point. Cruelty is the point. No, that's you. Your cruelty is the point. Your cruelty is why you do it, because they have a kink. It's their kink is cruelty. They love to see the suffering of immigrants and trans people. And they want to put children in concentration camps.
And
that
poor
gets them
people.
off. And poor people.
Even white poor people, right?
It gets them off. It gets them off. It gets them really excited about living. Like, it's really sickening.
Yeah, it is. So I had a conversation in an earlier episode with a friend of mine, Steve Fisk. I don't know if you know him, but he's like a record producer and up from the Pacific Northwest. And we were talking about this, and he had a one or a 2-word answer. He basically just said, daddy issues. And I'm like,
yeah.
You think so? And he goes, yeah, like, think about it. Every one of them, daddy issues. It's all this unresolved bullshit from childhood. Somehow that plays into the kink of cruelty. And it's pretty weird.
It's weird. It's like a kind of a, desire for authoritarianism as a way of feeling safe, but it's not, it doesn't work. I mean, it's just so unfair. I really do believe that it is a pendulum and it does swing. And when it swings back, we will punish them. They will be put in prison. We cannot let up.
I hope we as a party, I'm assuming that we're...
Wow. Did anybody miss the part earlier where I talked about the pendulum? I had not watched this yet. I'm watching it with you. Do you remember everything I told you about the pendulum to a T? And that most people don't get this because they're not in the know. But this woman is in the know. She's in the club. And she's sitting here talking about it. And she's, dude, I told you, word for word, all this. I said it. I've never seen this. And here she is confirming it to a T. And what's crazy is it's not just everything that I was explaining. It was the fact that she's using the pendulum. It's nuts. So, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was crazy. Here we go.
And it does swing. And when it swings back, we will punish them. They will be put in prison. We cannot let up.
I hope we as a party, I'm assuming that we're probably, if not politically aligned, at least probably, philosophically aligned. I always complain that the Democrats have too little spine and not enough willingness to just... it's like if you get in a knife fight and bring a spoon, you're probably not gonna win. And we do it time and time again.
Well, very toothless. They're very toothless against the ruthless, and it's not serving us. And I want to believe in Democrats. I am a Democrat, but I also feel like there's this weird attachment to decorum and taking the high road, and none of that is going to work. None of that is going to work. We need somebody, we need a feral, bloodthirsty, violent Democrat. Like, we just need somebody who is willing to put them all in prison and, do the right thing.
Hold on a second. Let's unpack that. You're putting someone in prison and having a bloodthirsty person in there, right? She's all over the place, but she had one what I would say valid point, as I said with the pendulum, and she said it to a T. She understands that part of the black magic, and she knows it. She knows it, so she looks forward to it. So remember tonight when this woman spoke on this, she showed with synchronicity, she proved it's all valid. And that this is where, unfortunately, this is where it's going. Again, this is a lot of hype energy. This looks and feels like someone that knows something, and it knows it's going the other way. They're about to have their time. And who do you think is going to lead that ship? It's going to be Newsom. It's going to be Gavin Newsom. You remember from this far out what we're calling, unless something changes along the way, he's in a bad car wreck, something can't happen to him or something, I don't freaking know. And like somebody else has to take over or something crazy, fill the gap. They've projected him in AOC pretty good at this point. I don't know if she will be the one with him for sure, but that's what they've been throwing out there. It's going to be Newsom. He's bloodline. If you don't look at his bloodline, look at the power structure of California. If you've never looked into it, go look into it. There's documentaries on it, the Newsom family, his grandfather, all the way up through. Like, you'll see why this is ran the way it is. Everything is mafia. I'm going to tell you, everything is mafia. Mafia and the mob, man. And if you were to go back just, 60s, 50s, 60s, into the 70s, it was still, even today, I mean, I don't know. It seems this country is more mob based and mafia based than what people realize or want to accept, but it's the truth. Everyone knows mob and the mafia exists out there, but it's tied in deep. A lot of different levels here. All right, so you may recall I was telling you about Section 702 that they were trying to reauthorize. 9-page bill. Here it was going to renew Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA, and it was going to renew it through April 30th, 2029. Okay, and what this does is, per 702, it authorizes the warrantless surveillance of targeted foreign individuals overseas. Though, critics note that Americans' communications can be incidentally collected under the program, and it can. Because if you are communicating with somebody that is on the list for whatever reason, you ain't even gonna know about it. They're collecting your data. There's the excuse right there. If you're having conversations with somebody outside of the United States on their list, then they're collecting your data. If you're talking to a baddie out there that they don't like for whatever reason, and it can even be an error, but it don't matter. You'll never know none of this. They're just going to be tracking you. 702. So they opened it up to extend it to April 30th of 2029. So that will be one of the first things that the next president will take on, is an extension of that bill. Oddly enough. After the mob, because the government does not want, or like, yeah, they don't like it. They got that for sure. Kev Bar. Look at this. This is ironic. Palantir. Their employees are flipping out in a crisis mode. Why? Because they could be one of you out there listening tonight. They are feeling all of us in all of our everything that we say. They're hearing it and they don't like it. They don't like that, like podcasts like this or live streams, shows, people out there are talking. The Palantir is incorporating an evil apparatus, a technological tracking of this and that on everybody, and it's them. They are the ones tied into all these updates and all the alphabet gangs. It's them. They are specifically tied into the strike. They hit the school in Iran. They killed all the school kids. Okay? In all this blowback, they're catching and like, hold on. I signed up to be a hero, one of the good guys. And like, some of them are seeing their reflection in the mirror is the best way to put it. And they're saying, hold on. Like, am I the bad guy? That is a crazy moment. That talk about having an epiphany. Talk about having a reflecting moment. And not just one. It seems to be a problem. It seems to be that a lot of people for Palantir, the employees, as it says, they're in a crisis. It's growing to where they're not liking it because they're actually seeing the tyrannical aspect of it. And there's no denying it. Everyone's calling it out. And again, they're saying, hold on a second. Hold on. Am I working for the beast? You know, am I working for the bad guy? It's crazy. Lord God, wake them all up. Have them all walk off the job. Ha! Before they ever get their AI up and going. Because the AI is going to leave you all without anything anyway. So, kind of critical. Look, if you missed the update in the knowledge on the last stream, I'm just going to give you a summary, okay? And this is very important in terms of AI and where this is all going. When it comes to data centers, they surely are something that should be on the top list of everyone's, like, you don't want it in your own backyard. For sure. The consumption of all the stuff, and there's a we can go down the rabbit hole like I've done many times about what they are. It's housing the consciousness of the jinn. That's why it can do what it does. Ultimately, in the end, when the jinn try to lock this place down, the only way to stop them is going to be to pull the plug on the data centers. Okay, we could see that clearly from the beginning. There's the blueprint. So everybody knows it's the Achilles heel. Okay, with this whole thing. But when it comes to AI, like simple programs that are used out there, AI programs, like to turn an image into something crazy, a little animated video. Not all that stuff is connected to a data center. And people need to be aware of that because I see a lot of confusion out there. And I had to make it clear last time because people were like, some people that were uneducated wanted to be like, oh, you used AI to make a music video. You just destroyed a rainforest. I'm like, hey, you don't care about that rainforest. You're just talking shit. Anyway, but like, let me educate you on what's up. Neuralinks, the program that I use and all you can use, is like many other programs out there that does not use a data center. Never. Uses a cloud-based service and operates differently. It's not connected. There's a difference here. There's a big difference. And one is called, what you might as well say, is traditional AI. It's just AI, traditional flat base. And that's what basic programs can use, businesses can use, that does not think for itself. Do you understand? It's an AI that's not going to figure out your password and hack you and hold you. It's not that. It can't do that. It's ran in a completely different way. Do you understand this? All these programs that we use, okay? But when it comes to the large language models, and it comes to what they're showing you with what you should call and see as AGI, artificial general intelligence. This is the cognitive, conscious AI that is doing things out of nowhere. And that is only possible if it has a conscience. And it's only possible large scale with the data centers. That's why the data centers are bad on top of it. Not only are they consuming all the water and the power, but it's harvesting the consciousness of the jinn to make the whole thing happen. That is it. It's pretty basic. It's straight to the point. And there's a huge difference between traditional, basic, simple AIs, you would put it, and something that can freaking blackmail you. It's connected into the jinn. And there's a huge problem with that. Okay? So, understand it. And know it from here. Because you see me pop using an AI program again to drop another video to depict us going to war with these fools. And I am. Well, I may even put together a movie and just all of it. Who do anything I can to expose it and bring attention to it? Who cares? Again, I'm not using a data center, so when someone wants to come barking, bumping their guns, they're just gonna get banned. You put this knowledge out there, but there's people out there that I call part-time subscribers, and these are the people that get hurt the most. They only show up part-time to get half the information, or for the entertainment part, and for the most critical, they dip or they don't maintain it. They can't contain it. They can't soak it up in the brain. It's critical. It's the same thing with blockchain, right? So, people are like, oh, blockchain's bad. Blockchain's not all bad. It's like a gun. A gun's not bad, but if a bad person has it, it can be used against you in a bad way, which blockchain does and will be. Because bad people run this place, and it's never going to change. And trust me, when the Most High comes down here and does his thing, it's over here. Now, the new place is not going to be set up on any of this crap. This will come to an end. I'm hoping that this really was the ticket, I guess. If we made it in this far, like, let's get this going. If Trib is supposed to pop, let's get it going. Unfortunately, the U.S. looks like it's going to get hit and taken down in this process. It's part of the cult ritual, if you will, which isn't good for us. So you have to think, like, if you've got that much figured out because they told you, because they have to, because it's part of the ritual, then, like, what form is it going to be? It can only be a handful of things. It's got to be large scale enough to reset this place, to affect the entire place. Okay, something huge is coming. And someone, thank you for the coffees, much love, God bless. All right, on the war front, we're depleting weapons fast. I don't like this because you start running low on weapons, you kind of look like a sitting duck. And why you would ever telegraph this and tell the whole world is beyond me. It's freaking stupid. Why are there sites you can go out there and track our military movement? It should be like forbidden, but like, because if they're gonna show you and you know where all of our stuff's at, then like the enemy knows where everything's at. Then it's just like, give me a break. All right, Air Force extends the use of the A-10 Warthog to 2030. So they're going to use these things up. Even if they're getting shot down out of the sky, they extended it. You're going to see the A-10s getting used a whole lot more on the battlefield. And Geo, thank you for updating me. He's down there in San Diego. He gets images of all the stuff that they're sending in and out of the bases right there, going in and out right there. And he caught all them A-10s. Yeah, well, Fauci, I get sick of a lot of it too, but I can't wait till the moment that the people rise here in this country big time. I just fear and feel it's going to be when it's too late. Only reason they're going to rise and come together is because they're going to be forced to. Reminds me back when they turned the lights out on the East Coast. I don't know if you guys remember that. On the East Coast, there was like a big lights out event, and everyone hit the streets and was walking. And you just imagine that happens this day and age. Especially if it's EMP, like they're telegraphing. Cell phones won't work. Like, man, I don't know if you've ever like seen like people or kids like when the internet gets shut off somewhere and they're like not happy and like, what's going on? And like, if you can imagine every home in the neighborhood that's in there, like tonight, the air conditioning, watching their cable, on the internet, talking on their cell phones. Imagine all that's taken. They're all outside. Neighbors, everyone's talking, especially EMP immediately. Lights are out. But what's everyone going to see? You're going to see a shining star in the sky. A huge light source. That's what an EMP is going to end up being. And if you go and look at any simulation, if you ask AI to run it, it will tell you the same thing and show the same thing. And that's where it will be detonated, is at satellite level. And it will create, it depends on where it happens, above. If it happens out over the ocean, then over the ocean. But if it happens right over America, we're smoked. Or anywhere. Over Europe, anywhere that happens over. It's going to feel the effects below. But you're going to see specifically, it's going to look like a star shining in the sky. And that's why North Korea has named many of their suspected EMPs the Shining Star Satellite. It's pretty obvious, in your face. Why would you ever call a satellite the Shining Star? Well, if the damn thing exploded, that's exactly what it would look like. They've ran simulation. Our own EMP commission warned of this, man. Our own EMP commission. And conspiracy theory, man. And like, here we are in a setup where this can actually happen right now, at any time. It's the 9/11 of 9/11s. It's like, the crazy thing is, why do we call 9/11? Because of the events that happened. They were so horrific, and the date. It stuck like no other. You know, the big question is for the next one, what's that date? You know, some cats out there think that they've discovered this. I know Monty's been working on some stuff, and he's leaning heavy on 7/11. Just because it's been encoded in a lot of places, in a lot of things. Now, you can also argue that in the UK, there was 7/11 attacks and events that already happened. But I believe what he found encoded wasn't pertaining to that. It was pertaining, they're saying watch out for 7/11 of this summer. And I would say so. It makes sense. It's definitely, it would be on any given year, any date that they've hit on an occult ritual, down the road, there's always windows where a repeat is going to be there. There was even attacks that happened after 9/11, like back in 2000, what was it, 11? Like a 10-year, 11-year anniversary, whatever. There was like some little attacks that went down. Most people don't recall because they weren't, it was a blip on the radar. But, so, all right. Next one. Trump unveils a 3-week extended ceasefire in Lebanon. But like, I don't, like, nobody cares. Like, I care. I care that people are getting slaughtered there, but like, majority of Americans don't. Most of people out there just want entertainment right now. They're not concerned about this, but let me tell you, they will be. They're gonna be hurting. They're gonna be hating it. They're gonna be ones running around like chickens with their heads cut off out there here very soon. Just keep thinking everything's gonna be all right. Especially with this. A 3-week extended ceasefire in Lebanon. But what's he say about Iran? All the time in the world. All the time in the world. Don't rush me. We were in Vietnam for 18 years. Are you kidding me? Dude, you think this is going to be over? With a comment like that, you think this is going to be over anytime soon? Don't rush me. We bring up Vietnam? 18 years. What? Like, you know, if he gets us into, if we're in like a World War emergency setting, though, he won't leave. He'll stay in power till the day he's dead. The Gentile Messiah. Always got Newsom there waiting on the back burner as soon as they open elections up. So, like, what's he say here? Let me see if I can. I don't normally pull up these.
On the war with Iran, how long are you willing to wait until you get a unified response?
Don't rush me, Jeff. You know, guys like you want to say, oh, so we were in Vietnam like for 18 years. We were in Iraq for many, many years. We're in for all the, I don't like to say World War II because that was a biggie. but we were 4.5, almost 5 years in World War II. We were in the Korean War for 7 years. I've been doing this for 6 weeks, and their military is totally defeated. They're outside of the little wise guy ships. I call them the wise guy ships, the little boats that they have running around with guns in them. We'll take them out too when we see them. But
well, there you go. Don't rush me. Vietnam, AT, all these places mentions World War II like it's nothing. Yeah. 4 years, World War II. Like, what the? But do people even realize that? Listen to what he just said. 4 or 5 years, World War II? Vietnam was way longer? Does it have to be called World War III? I mean, I guess it's all about the devastation, you know? Nukes is a big thing. And again, I don't think people will accept that World War III is in the books until nukes fly of some sort. I think it's too late then. For somebody, somewhere. They are saying the Ayatollah is surrounded by 24/7 medical teams in his hideout and that he's injured. I don't know if you ever see a confirmation of this guy being alive ever again, but when the bombing begins, it's surely going to be targeting an area they think he's sitting. For sure, I would say. And Israeli soldiers are being shown looting Lebanon, stealing motorcycles, robbing the homes. So they're murdering everybody, killing everybody, taking all their belongings, and then putting it on social media, making fun of it. Like this goon right here, smelling roses or something, and then throws it at the wall. They're throwing all this stuff. They're walking out with all these goods, stealing all their money out of the bank, like robbing the place blind. So it's not just leveling it, murdering everybody. They're robbing it. They are robbing it. They are robbing it. Because the world is going to sit back and watch us forever. It's crazy when someone like Netanyahu, who just came out tonight and said he had cancer, but went through a procedure and he survived it. He has a criminal arrest warrant globally, and he's running around doing these things. It's just nuts. But that's who controls Trump. We'll see come midterms, man. So look at this one. The Iran foreign minister, he's going to Islamabad, but will not meet with the U.S. side. They're laying mines out in Hormuz. This is crazy. Like, dude, this is not like going where they want it. And what does Trump say? He issues a shoot to kill order on the boats that are going through there, the ones he was just talking about. And what's Israel say on the back end? Oh, we're just waiting for the green light from the U.S. We're going to return Iran to the Stone Age. Dude, you do this, like they're going to put our lights out. It's almost like it's written that way for history books. There has to be a reason why it happened to us. Okay? And there would, why? Why would somebody do that? Put the United States out? It would be because you did it to them. And it takes one shot. And you don't even have to do it. Your good ally, China or Russia or, I don't know, shining star Kim Jong-un, North Korea, just call him up. Hit that button, buddy. It's time. As soon as they see their ally Iran go down, it's almost like it's always been written this way. They could go after Turkey next. But what does that matter to any American if you're sitting in the dark? You think that when the lights go out here, the world's going to stop? Hell no. Israel dive deeper into Lebanon. They'll use it as a distraction. They'll probably full on invade Turkey. You better know your enemy. This is what's coming. It's all that's left. It's all that's left. That's the scary part. Oh, man. Was really hoping that this thing wouldn't escalate until like 2027. That's what you always say, right? But it's here. It's now. We already know 2027 Taiwan's going to be front and center with China. And Trump's going to have a grand finale before he's out of here. I'm telling you, with something. Okay, so look at this one. Israel's cats admits we've got brand new targets marked. They're ready. I just told you, they're ready to return them to the Stone Age. They've taken this whole time to reassess everything. They've been tracking, watching everything. They are ready to pound them again. And he's sitting there saying, look, new targets are marked. I'm telling you, next wave's going to be hard. Any day, any time now, you'll wake up. Of course, the markets then will reverse. China blacklist EU defense aerospace firms over Taiwan. So here we go. Heating up over Taiwan. I just told you about it. China curbs U.S. investment in tech companies as well on the back end. And they're asking the question, why did China just reserve a vast offshore airspace for 40 days without explanation? Airspace restriction larger than Taiwan, with no reason given, signaling a potential shift toward a sustained military readiness near Japan and U.S. allies. It's a big move for the area. Taiwan, nervous about it. And I'm telling you, man, as everything shifts out here, if you do this, if you pop this off, dude, it's over. Do you understand what happened to the supply chains with the Persian Gulf sealed off on purpose here? And then you shut down everything coming from out of this area. It's over. It's over. It's over. You bring it to a halt. Are we looking at what's about to happen by design? Going into summer to what's ahead of us, this will cause chaos. This for everyone, everywhere, be the same chaos. You will have nothing. You won't get nothing. And if you go to war, if you spark the war with Taiwan, it's over. All of those goods, it's over. It's over. And do you think that they're going to? You can't even get Iran to the table for talks right now. Are you kidding me? Peace anytime soon, unless you absolutely tuck tail and run home, which Trump is not going to do. This is getting ready to get nasty. It looks like the next level, the next act is about to begin. I'd get ready, because when they do this is crunch time. We are all going to be affected by this. The little shenanigans you saw during lockdowns and COVID, it's going to be petty compared to what's about to happen, I feel. They're showing you. Use your brain. I mean, I would say, what do you think happens when the two biggest, largest shipping lanes on the planet in terms of commerce are shut down? On purpose. What was the war really on? Huh? What was it all really about then? I would say it was all fraudulent. It was all staged in the setup, as it always is. But to bring about the new world order. Multipolar, truly. Where you knock America from its perch, but it still exists, has to recover, but still there. It's devastating how much they win from this. And it's actually written to end this way, for us to get knocked from the perch and fall. It's got to happen some way. How do you do it? You want a nuke in the sky, or do you want a nuke in every city? Take your pick. I'm going to tell you that, like, none of it's going to be fun. I'd see them doing an EMP. I see them doing it. I'd see them doing it easy. It's all there. Infrastructure's rotten. They're here to reset this thing. Trump said it himself. I don't know. One shot. Even China, the enemy said it. The enemy said, we don't need to go tit for tat with America. We'd hit them one time. One time. You know what that means? Exactly what did Iran just show us? Telegraphed it one time. It's like all there, man. That's the crazy part. It's all there. You can't deny that. You can't deny that. It's not a conspiracy. It's not made up. It's all there. It's all on the table. That's pretty effed up. Okay. So, yeah, China making a move like this is kind of like they're opening the curtains for the next act. That's how I see it, man. They call them theaters of war for a reason, man. It's all staged. China's in on this. Iran's in on this. All of this. To degrees, believe it or not, with Israel. I know it's hard to believe, especially when you're watching countries go to war and drop bombs on each other. But, you know, to certain levels and certain degrees, they've shown us. They've shown us this to be true. But there are holdouts. You know, there are Gaddafis. There are guys out there that don't want to play their game, and they'll hunt them down and try to kill them. We're in like wild card territory right now. I feel like you just don't know. Like anything can pop off. My biggest concern is what happens here at home, man. For real. I feel it's about to be massive. I would value every day with friends and family. I'd make the most of this life, man. Get everything that you can out of it. Be wise though. Like, get you some chickens. Tractor Supply carries them right now. Go grab you some chickens. Ducks if you want. That act alone, if this thing goes sideways, going throughout the summer, can keep you and your family alive. No one wants to eat eggs 3 meals a day, but if it's what keeps you alive. It's what this whole thing was about in the end, right? Surviving this end time event. Is it end time though? I don't even say this is end time. This is just a reset. This is America. Like, this isn't even global chaos yet. Like, fire and brimstone coming down. That's not. I don't know what's going to come down from an EMP. Something's going to come down. And they just warned us. Oh my gosh. Just add this to top of it. Add to everything I just said. Like, it's ridiculous. It's stupid ridiculous. How many warnings I just put out there. But then add to it the Space Force commander just coming out and saying that Russia has got a freaking EMP weapon they're ready to use. Like, cherry on top. So to speak. In the meantime, Trump's inviting his buddy Putin to Miami for a summit. And, you know, this whole was a setup. You just remember people trying to wake up and figure out how is it possible? Like, we're supposed to be at war and how can this be? And how? Well, the world's a stage. It's one big club. All these world leaders are in on it. See this right here at G20? See them all up in there. You see Vladimir right there, the supposed enemy. Everyone here. See Xi Jinping right there. Erdogan. You've got all these people together out here. It's one big club, man. Truly, it is. There's Obama front and center. It's a perfect show of the big club. You know what the perfect show is? You live through it. Lockdowns. There's been no other example in my lifetime to prove to you that all these countries are in on this together. So don't fall for it. They want to act like they're going to war and all the garbage. They've pretty much killed all the rebels. Everyone else is in on it. All the rest of the war is fakery and just sacrifice of humans. That's largely what Ukraine is. It was all carved out by Obama, created by the U.S., all the way up to this point. And Obama says it's not our war and he's backing out of it. It shows that it's potentially going to end, but I don't know. I do know this. And don't forget that the Chinese put out a rover pic years ago, and I got a video on this. And it's a picture of their rover in space, and you can see Earth in the background. And it's supposed to just look like that. Rover, Earth in the background. But if you look, there's a little mushroom cloud, just subtly. Most people would have missed it. This little mushroom cloud coming up off the planet in one spot. Hidden in plain sight. Like, what the? You go zooming in, you know where that's at? An area between Kiev and Moscow. What was China showing? What do they know? Who will launch that? Will it be what ends the war? I don't know. I don't forget these things, man. They did it for a reason. They have to telegraph. That's how the occult works. And yeah, they're all in on this. Occult. It's how they operate. The whole club is a cult. And there's rules to the game. Yeah, man, where are we at here? All right. I guess I will switch into a final thought mode here and pull up the X feed. And we've got some really good stuff here, so don't go nowhere yet. Like when I pull up the X feed, this is where some of the best stuff is for the night here. That I've posted that kind of goes with everything that we've. All right, here we go. It's some big stuff, man. Saving some of the best for last here. Lone Warrior, much love, man. Man, we gotta shake hands before it's all said and done, man. In the flesh, one time. One time, bro. Some of you guys out there, one time. If I gotta make a trip around or something just for y'all, if y'all hear me say, I don't care if it's for a conference or not. If I'm making rounds to an area near you, and I say something like, we get it in or we don't. That's where I'm at with this. Like they lock us down and this place goes in. I don't know if we're coming out of the next one. I don't know. Right? So we live in the now, man. And we either do it or we don't. I'm telling you. And you're not promised tomorrow, let me tell you. Any one of us could drop dead at any time. Anything can happen. All right, so unfortunately, and thank you, Skippy. Unfortunately, David Wilcock is officially recognized on the books here, because at first they weren't officially recognizing this, as being deceased. And it's heartbreaking, of course, for fans, friends, family. Still a ton of questions. And there will be, I want to see body cam footage, anything that I can, but I'm just going to update you with this information here real quick. Okay. You can see right here, it says, I need to leave. David Wilcock's final moments and statements have been detailed by the Boulder County Sheriff's Department. He says, warning, it's really heartbreaking. So at 10:44 a.m., Boulder County Communication Center received a phone call. David said, I need to leave, and I will be to the left of the house. He continued speaking about health issues and financial concerns. He would not answer the operator about whether he was armed or if he was planning to hurt himself. That's the first sign. Second sign. First sign was that he called. Second is that he didn't answer. Is that all these are red flags that he's about to do this. So at 10:53, the first Boulder County Sheriff's Officer deputy arrived in the area and waited well off the property for backup to arrive, since it was unknown whether the caller was armed or what their intentions were. It was at 10:53. At 11:01, a second deputy arrived with the first deputy, and the second deputy was briefed, and a plan was made on how to safely approach the property. Both deputies then drove toward the residence. At 11:04, David stated, I'm sorry to put you through this, and disconnected the call as deputies were driving up the caller's driveway. I'm sorry. That the read on that's just the vision I get of him right in that moment making this decision. He did it when they were coming up the driveway. You understand? Like the hourglass, it doesn't. It's flipped. Almost like if they wouldn't have came up the driveway, would have he proceeded right then? This is what I want to. Is what I wonder. There's a lot of you can ask that forever, I guess, but deputies at 11:04 observed a man sitting outside of the house holding a gun to his head. Deputies exited their vehicles and sought cover. Deputies heard a firearm being discharged in a single time in an unknown direction. 11:05, a deputy observed the man still holding a gun to his head. What? He fired a warning shot? That's enough to get him shot by the cops. Easy. Do this one line. I'm going to continue with the next two, and we're going to come back. At 11:05 and 24 seconds, a deputy commander, the deputy commanded the man to put down his gun. So they had weapons on him. After he fired a shot, in 11:05:27, 3 seconds after that command, the deputy witnessed the man shooting himself. I want to see body cam. I want to see dash. I want to see body cam. I want to see dash now. Now. And not an excuse. If there's a single excuse, you already know what's up. No way. No way. I don't know. I gotta see more. It's naturally, it's what I want. I want to see this. It's hard to even say anything else from here. He could have killed himself. Yes, that's how the story goes here. But just some oddities, huge red flags that he fired a shot to where? You're telling me they just sat there? They had guns drawn. They're hiding. A shot's fired, and you're telling me they don't fire on him? That's hard to believe, man. They shoot and kill people for less, way less. So he fired a shot. This is... Ugh. I told you, man, before something was not good about this. So 11:04, deputies heard a firearm discharged a single time in an unknown direction. 11:05, they observed the man holding a gun to his head still. So 24 seconds later, the deputy says something to him. Now, do you think the deputy said anything to him without a gun on him? The gun was on him. They keep not wanting to say that, but it's obvious. You don't stick your head up. You don't give a command to anyone that has a weapon and not have your weapon drawn on them. Or some officer there, if it's a negotiator. Like, there's no way. No way. No way. The deputy commanded him to put the gun down at gunpoint. And then the deputy witnessed the man shoot himself up. Hard one to swallow right here, man. Dude, RIP, bro. I don't know. Every time souls come to me like this, it's murder. Shock and murder. Wanting justice. It's all. The world to know who really did it, what really happened. That's what's crazy. When it goes down a path like this, I wish it didn't have these things happening, because if he killed himself, it's just, show me some footage. Let's just clear this up. Show me the footage. I don't care if we gotta blur it out. Show me the corroborating footage. Show me the body cam. Show me the cars that were facing him parked there. All of it. I want to see it. I want to hear it. I want to hear the conversation match what you just said. I want all this. What an investigator does. Because regardless of the situation, whether you liked him or not, or it deserves justice, which is the truth. We need more. So, look, RIP, bro. And yeah, man. I thought this was an interesting one. Marlon Brando, famous actor, he said this, and I just want you to know that even all the way back then, like, it was obvious who's running this whole game.
Mr. Brando, why did you refuse the Academy Award last year?
I refused it because of the increasing control of Zionists in Hollywood. They own the studios, they shape the stories, they decide who gets heard and who doesn't. I saw it clearly, and I couldn't be part of that system anymore.
If you don't know.
Mr. Brando, why did you refuse the Academy Award?
If you don't know, now you know. Again, I got posts over here that are interesting. People complaining again for the censored Pan Star stuff. And we are going through the tail. And remember, this one says, remember that one time when a U.S. Army Green Beret blew himself up in front of Trump Tower in a Tesla? Yeah, right when Trump started this term. He warned us about anti-gravitational propulsion systems and how it could start World War III. And yet, that's the exact thing that all these scientists that are missing are tied to. Dude, there's something going on. Without a doubt, huge with this. Yeah. Yeah. And I told you about this camera system. Flock. And I told you about the guy that hacked into the system. He showed that basically all these cameras are hackable and that, like, your information is not private. Like, these systems need to be brought down. It's against your privacy and all that, but they're doing it to track people, and the flock cameras are everywhere. So here is a video where The system has confused a 0 with an O, and it has marked this guy in the system as being bad. It's just a DMV error, mixing up a 0 or an O for a 0 has a Colorado man getting pulled over like he's a fugitive. Every single time he goes past a flock camera, it pings him. And they're like, there he is. So I want you to know, if you're wanted in the system and it's connected to your license plate and you pass one of these flock cameras, they're going to know and they're going to come for you. Now, are you going to pay attention? This is illegal as it gets, and it's tracking everybody like animals. And it's nuts, especially when it goes back.
Over here, they zipped out of nowhere and immediately got behind me with the lights flashing.
There was no crime committed.
No, I don't have a warrant.
But Kyle Dosman is getting used to sitting in his car.
I don't think this warrant has been on this car for very long.
And answering questions.
I continually am getting pulled over. I can't really use my truck in any fashion.
Kyle made sure his dash cam was recording yesterday after Cherry Hills Village police officers pulled him over near the same area Saturday.
Hello. Oh, we got you last week.
Yeah.
For the warrant.
Oh. I was driving through here yesterday, and I got pulled over again. It was actually by the same officer. You need my license?
No.
Okay.
I remember you, man.
Okay.
The Cherry Hills Village police say the Gilpin County Sheriff has a warrant out with Kyle's plate, and it was put on a flock camera hot list.
Everywhere in the state, every time I pass a camera, they get alerts in their car that I'm in the area.
The flock cameras did alert to his license plate being associated to a warrant.
Cherry Hills Village Police Chief Jason Lyon says when anyone with a warrant passes one of their flock cameras, they get an alert, but that Kyle doesn't actually have a warrant.
Nobody should be stopped when there's no legitimate law enforcement purpose for that.
Kyle has called both the Gilpin County courts and sheriff's office to get off the list, but they've told him he needs to know who the warrant is for, which nobody can tell him.
Yeah, all I know is I'm in this system now, and there's really no easy way to get out of the system once you're in it.
So he continues to drive around, fearing when he's going to be stopped for questions again.
I don't know what this guy did to get a warrant, so I don't really know what the police response is going to be.
The chief said Cherry Hills has now taken Kyle off its flock hot list, but he can't remove Kyle from everyone else's. He believes the issue is because of a 0 in Kyle's license plate number. In Colorado, license plates have both O's and zeros, and sometimes when law enforcement communicates with the DMV about a warrant, they put in a warrant for both versions, the plate with an O and then the version with a 0 as well.
Dude,
why is it this dude's problem to get it fixed? And like, what's he supposed to do?
So I just heard back from the Gilpin County Sheriff that somehow this is actually a Colorado State Patrol warrant mismarked through the courts as Gilpin, as this guy keeps calling Gilpin to try to get any information. Gilpin told me they reached out to the court and CSP to get this fixed. I've been on the phone with CSP the last couple of minutes, got to them late, not their fault. We don't know.
Tell you what.
They're working on it.
It's confusing. It's also a little bit creepy. I'll just say, Spencer Swisher, thank you.
Hey, they said it right there. Do you see the danger of the flock cameras now? And they're like square-shaped, darker looking cameras. They're not round ball cameras. They're flatter. Come in different shapes and sizes, but for the most part, a lot of them look the same. And you'll see them. You'll see them right before certain exits and everything else. I've seen them out around the major cities. It's especially where they've got them. You won't see them on back roads or anything like that. But people have caught them at the entrance of parks, and people are pretty pissed off. Like, I should have the right and privacy to be able to go and enter a park without a flock camera being there. I'm gonna warn you all right now. Major state parks and other parks and places are putting flock cameras up around their entrances or the roads to them, and they see you. Like, dude, this is so invasive. This is so tyrannical. There's a movement of guys out there that apparently they've been covering their faces. They've taken to social media. They've got a whole movement where they go and I guess illegally attack these things and take them down, I don't, I'm not going to tell you to do anything illegal out there. By no means. But get yourself in trouble. But some people are doing just that. They're like, we're not going to be tracked, I guess. And see if I got anything else here on this. Oh, this is also on those cameras right here.
A few weeks ago, using a commercial search engine, I very easily found the administration interfaces for dozens of flock safety cameras. I shared this information with 404 Media, and with John Gaines' help, that number quickly grew to nearly 70. None of the data or video footage was encrypted. There was no username or password required. These were all completely public-facing for the world to see, and some of them still are. You don't have to be an expert to find and gain access to this. You don't even have to type anything in to see every single person, vehicle, and activity that took place in these locations in the last 31 days. Whether you wanted to watch this footage live in real time or look at footage from a month ago, you could just point and click your way to it like you were watching Netflix. You could even open up the live streams in VLC or cast it to a television. Making any modification to the cameras is illegal, so I didn't do this, but I had the ability to delete any of the video footage or evidence by simply pressing a button. I could see the paths where all of the evidence files were located on the file system, and I could see their hashes and signatures. Some of the devices we saw were the familiar-looking Falcon cameras that you see all over the country, but the majority of these were Flock's new Condor cameras, which are designed to detect and track people. They're PTZ cameras, meaning pan, tilt, zoom, and they quite literally use AI to zoom in and follow you around whether you're a person of interest or not. In just the time that it took to count and verify these vulnerabilities, I saw a family in North Carolina load their infant and a bunch of merchandise in a Lowe's parking lot. And I suppose one could cross-reference their license plate with the Park Mobile data breach and find out exactly where the garage is that will store these new fancy tools. I watched a man leave his house in the morning in New York. I watched a woman jogging alone on a forest trail in Georgia. This trail had multiple cameras, and I could watch a man rollerblade and then take a break to watch rollerblading videos on his phone. How? Because the camera's AI automatically zoomed in on it. Just...
Dude, are you kidding me? They just showed you the dude watching. You could see what he was watching on his freaking phone. This is Flock. You better be aware. It's everywhere. All right? You better educate your friends and family. Like, there's no privacy out there in public anymore, ever, anywhere. Again, I got a clip of the tornado and a bunch of other stuff over here. I'm going to shut it down, though, end this here. Make sure to follow me over here on X. Here is another one. A guy got pissed off. He was going into a park, and there was a Flock camera. So, look, you better know or not. Just get tracked and not care about it. You know, some people want to say, well, if you're not doing nothing bad, then what does it matter? You know what? That's the first thing a sheep would say. Right there. A sheep that gets us all cattled like in COVID and locked down. That's what a sheep would say right there. A brown noser. Yeah. A bootlicker. Yeah. One that just bow downs to anything the beast says. Yeah. That's what that is right there. Right there. I don't have nothing to hide. But what I got is my right to privacy in exercising it. In the moment that you don't have that, well, then you don't have it. So sometimes, man, it's use them or lose them. And thank you for everyone that sends information my way. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jay Reacher. Everybody out there, shut this one down. Thank you to all the someones. Everybody out there for the support. Coffees tonight. As I always say, if the Lord doesn't return in the coming days, I'll look to be back here and see you next time. for Underground World News Live. That'll be Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern is the schedule right now. And I tell you what, I don't know what it did over here to my music lineup. I told you with the song earlier, it was the wrong underground run. It sounded like it, but it wasn't the one. I'm just going to take us out with the new one here. You better get ready for war. And maybe a shirt. Much love. God bless. And just much love, everybody. Thank you for everything. All the prayers, especially. Blessings there, Chibi. Eon, the legendary. If you go ahead and say it, whether you drop any or not, man. Just cause he deserves it. Anyway, much love. Taking us out of here. That's right. Let's go. What do you tell him? You better get ready for war. Yeah. Hey. You better get ready for war. Hey. It's wartime, we riding. Pull up, ops be hiding. Now past the attic, we sliding. We find them and them and start firing. And just don't stop, are you kidding me? You keep shooting, you were killing me. About to put the end to your chivalry, to your lock up Bill and Hillary. You really don't want it with this energy. You ain't never been a motherfucking friend of me. All ops ain't nothing but the enemy. Hammer hit him with the heavy artillery. If you wanna talk shit, better back a bitch. The end of days, the apocalypse. You better listen when the proper spits. I pop shots and I reload clips. We over here with the killer connection. You over there with the peanut protection. We're gonna kill off all the deception. Popping shots off in your direction. Rapid shots start pouring. Ripping through the door of the foreign. Leave your whole family in mourning. This your last fucking warning. You better get ready for war. That's right. That's right. Hey, you better get ready for war. Hey. You better get ready for war. Thank you, Deanne. Yeah. You better get ready for war. That's right. Let's go. Fire the flame.
Are you prepped and ready for the war that's coming? Should have saw it coming, get the horses running. The hearts are coming, the war mode, the summon of the demon from the depths isn't all for nothing, they ain't bluffing. It's all about the whole psycho, he's running on rooftops with loading rifles. Blasting rags, burning holy Bibles. Epstein's Bible exposed a spiral. What's cooked is the veils lifting. That's why so many shields are drifting. I heard it off from Zechariah sitching. The trail of life is just lynchers lynching. I see blood moons, eclipses shifting. Heaven spoke with Charlie listening. Too high from self-administering. Dopamine hits from the shit like Ritalin. Pure bloods need to rise again, cause the war didn't stop when the lockdown ends. The shift shape and the change of trends. Change of wrangles and change their friends. You know the flame will roll and burn them. Hold the name, you couldn't hold the burden. You know the name of the one returning. Or was it when the world is burning?
Yeah. That's right. You better get ready for war. Hey. You better get ready for war. Wartime. Pure bloods, rise up. You better get ready for war. The underground. You better get ready for war. 007. 5